Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, got it. Works. Works. Sweet. I forgot I had set all that shit up and all, didn't I? Oh, Tony Bates. Do 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 do. Bates. Do 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 do. Should I go on the X Factor, Mush? Why? I think that'd be rather good. So we go on together, Tom.
You really are a loud fucking prick, aren't you?
I was having to sort my mic out 'cause I'm on a different account.
Oh, I could fucking hear. Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah.
You're sounding more and more northern.
And it works, so we're all good.
Yeah, but it's a delay.
Although Mike got the server wrong again.
Lovely.
Messed up a driver's ID number. Yeah, I did have the pleasure of telling him. I told him. He was told.
He said,
where did I get it wrong? It says D. Hansen's ID number was wrong. I've done it now and I've saved it on the configuration file. To which he hasn't responded.
Oh. I need a poo.
I need you. Tony Bates. Tony, you got no fans.
Tony. God, I turned 29 in 3 days. Fucking, what's wrong with me? I'm meant to be an adult, but I'm not. And then next year I'm 30. 30. God, it feels to be young again. How many already in it? 23.
23 out of 30.
How many?
No, wait, because 2 declined at the end. So
we're expecting 28.
25, 28, yeah.
25, 28.
No, I was adding them up in my head then. So we're expecting 25 full times, 3 reserves, 28 drivers.
Look at the lap times.
209.
Fucking, oh my God, Cloudin is so gonna. Actually, no, I think he's gonna. Why is it midday?
He's gonna burn his tyres. Why is it midday?
It's midday.
Why is it midday? I'll kill Mike. I will kill Mike.
He can't. He
17.
fucking can't.
18.
Oh,
17. 18. 19. We'll just point out what Mike said earlier.
Tell you now.
Putting it in there.
What did he say earlier?
Hang on, I'll tell you now. Let me just get back in the lobby. Blah blah blah. Doing it now. When copying the event, just copy the bottom section, as I don't know if the track and weather was updated. I'll make sure it's fully set for Pro in the practice file. Also remember to change the tyres back to 10. What do you mean with yes tyres? I know. Doesn't matter. Just edited the whole file for you. Thank you, Mike. What do you mean with yes tyres? I know. Doesn't matter. Just edited the whole file for you.
Oh, funny.
So do you know tomorrow night when he resets it? Let's see if he remembers. Right, everybody's back in. They've all got 10 sets of free tyres. Do you know what I mean, Papa Tony? You just cannot get the staff, can you, Tony? You know, babe? Why? Oh, it's because that's up from Streamlabs. Sorry, baby. Yeah, we heard you twice. That was Tony.
Yeah, that's because you fucking didn't. Maybe you should open your ears like Tony.
Basically, Tony's telling you to shut the fuck up, woman.
Tony should come and tell me then, shouldn't he?
You are?
Tony should come and tell me then, shouldn't he?
There you go, Tony. You should. Yeah, there you go. He's just said it.
I fucking see him.
Shit.
I've got fucking hearing.
Tell her when you come down to watch Stags and Glassdean. Yeah. Hello, Tony. Can you hear me? Sweet. Thank you. Dankeschön. Thank you in German. Am I coming through my proper mic? Yes. Yeah, it does sound very clear. Some might say crystal. That's fine. You say what you want to say, Mush. Kieran Argent's in. Jazzy Jeff's not in. Dean's not in yet. He's done fuck all. He didn't say he was going to test last night. He actually didn't say he was going to test now. It was Monday he said he was going to test. Oh, thank you, big man. Where are you going? You going up to bed? That was a lovely kiss, thank you. Is it? Hey, passage. Oh, you're taking his tablet up? Yeah, no worries. I'll sit on your bed. Do you mind if I request the fan? Or a fan? Seeing as you're not as hot as me. Got 2 fans, actually. Got 2 fans. Do you mind if I request the better fan?
You can request the fan if you're going to come and fetch the fan.
No.
Seeing as I requested a drink and didn't get one.
Oh, sorry, that's because I was just doing the grid, or I was
You
going to do
weren't
it
doing
after.
anything, you were sat on your phone when I requested, so fuck you.
Women! I'd better go get the fan. I'll go. Actually, do you know what? I'm gonna go for a shit first as well. Back in a sec, Tony. 2 ticks.
This morning, she told me how pleased she was that for the first time since the festival started in 1970, 2 of the 3 headliners are female. On Friday night, we've got the British pop sensation Dua Lipa, who's won 7 Brit Awards, the big #1 from the Barbie movie last year. She's rehearsing in Birmingham. And then on Sunday, we have SZA, the US superstar, who beat Taylor Swift to Best Foreign Act at this year's Brit Awards. All starts 10:30 tonight with a drone show in the sky above that pyramid stage.
Colin, thank you so much. We are so jealous. Let's see what the weather for Glastonbury is going to be like and for everybody else. Here's Stan. Thanks very much, Ben. Glorious conditions there. It's going to cool down a little bit, though. Good evening to you. That's the theme for the rest of this week. Temperatures are dropping. We did see 30 Celsius again in the southeast of England, but as we head through the rest of the week, it's going to start to feel fresher for all. There'll still be quite a bit of sunshine around, but the winds will be quite a feature thanks to this unusually deep area of low pressure for the time of year. It's ushering in this fresher, slightly cooler air off the Atlantic behind this cold front, as the name suggests, which will be spreading across the country as we move through tomorrow. However, this is the current temperature scenario outside the moment, into the low to mid-20s still across southeast England, so warm and muggy there, but fresh already in northern and west areas where we've had more clouds today and outbreaks of rain. Now, as we move through tonight, it looks like this area of low pressure will edge ever closer to the northwest of the UK, sending this cold front across the country, some splashes of rain on it, temperatures dropping a little bit, but still another warm, muggy night to come across the Midlands, southern and eastern England, no lower than 70 degrees in the capital. We start off plenty of sunshine in the east. That's a cold front, barely anything on it by the time it pushes towards the east. Just a band of cloud, but it introduces that cooler air. Further north, the west, though, turns windier with showers or longer spells of rain. The wind starts to turn much stronger for the west of Scotland. So temperatures much lower here. You can see the low to mid-teens went up to 24, 25 degrees in the southeast. That will be noticeably cooler, but still pleasant. As we head through tomorrow evening, it turns very windy with gales for the north and west of Scotland, showers or longer spells of rain there for Scotland and northwest England, all courtesy of this area of low pressure, which will lift northwards as we head through Friday and into the weekend. But we still have further weather fronts and Atlantic air source across the country, so it will feel cooler as we end the week. Some spots of rain here and there at times, but there will be some sunshine as well. That's it from me. So, thank you very much indeed, and that is today's BBC News at 6. You can keep up to date with all
Hello.
website now then.
How you doing, dudes?
Wherever you are.
Lovely jubbly.
You're watching East Midlands today and tonight. In
Oh,
the
there,
House of
nasty.
Election special programmes, we're here in Downing Street, not SW1.
Right as rain, bloody hell.
We're in Sutton Ashfield, in North Nottinghamshire.
Strange one.
This is a true red wall community, but what are the hopes here for the future of its
Yeah.
town, its county, and indeed the rest of the country? Many people who feature in Sutton say they love the area and are proud to live here, but hope for more when it comes to jobs and opportunities for the younger generation. And after another hot day today, it's all changed tomorrow as temperatures edge down to something more typical for the end of June. I'll have all the details later.
Oh yeah, just luck of the draw with that, innit?
Hello there, welcome to
Yeah, I stuck mine out earlier. Bloody done some weed and put the recycling bin out. That'll be collected tomorrow.
just over a week to go now to the general election before we put the programme out to Sutton and Ashfield in Nottinghamshire. As you probably know if you were watching just now, we've come just round the corner from the very aptly named Downing Street.
Yeah. Ours have like a 4-hour window. They kind of come in sort of between 8 and midday.
Locating ourselves just inside this St Michael's Church. But it's no longer actually sort of a working church. It's home to the Resurrection Martial Arts Club. That's a club that's been going for about 16 or 17 years around this whole area. And they only moved into this church after COVID. I think I'm right in saying it's much more than just a martial arts club. I mean, it really is part of the community. They have over 100 members, and they go from 5 years old up to 80.
Do you have an app from your council about the bins?
As well. So we're going to be chatting
Like an app for your phone?
and everything that's going on around here.
Oh, right.
And also some of the people who run it as well to see what they actually do.
Yeah, the local council here, they got an app.
This is Red Wall Country.
It doesn't always notify me though, which is weird. If like any changes. Many a time I've gone out and there's been like a leaflet stuffed in the bin from the bin men, and the app hasn't even mentioned anything about it. Hey, shit.
Welcome to Ashfield. A former coal mining community.
Fucking hell, a 209.
You knocked me off of my feet now, baby.
Twist and shout.
No, wrong. No.
Oh, shout and twist. Pull and fart. Peenie and stroke. I don't know.
No.
Oh.
No. Just.
Duffing
no.
and masturbation. No.
Duffing and masturbation?
Yep.
You knock me off of my feet now, Matthew.
See? Big spunk.
The way you're making me feel.
Oh, what's that one? The
You really turn me
Tony.
on.
I've got something for you, Tone. No, I come up to bed last night.
Oh,
And I'm
She
stood,
was fucking butt naked
I'm stood,
and she took
I'm
a photo.
stood there, and I'm stood there, and we're chatting away, and I'm getting undressed, because I was sleeping naked last night, 'cause it rot. And I let the biggest fart rip you can imagine. Problem was, hang on. Problem was, no,
You shit yourself.
the fan was right behind me, so it wafted straight into her.
Yes. Chemical warfare. Love it. Dirty
She really knocked her
bastard.
off her feet.
Dirty
Shit.
bastard.
That was a magic moment, was it? Yeah.
Movie magic moment.
Yeah, he loves a magic moment. He did he? Yeah.
It was a good night, babe. Yeah, night. Love you. Good night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you shut the fuck up, by the way?
Magic moments when the fart is
Babe,
flowing.
I think it might have just followed through. Oh, it's turtle heading. Oh.
Oh, call me Thunder Mountain.
Where's Pierre? I'd rather put Pierre
Thunder
on
Mountain.
this bullshit.
Oh,
Are the time set right now, Dan?
my bumhole. I don't fucking know. I've been booted out the session. No, I've been booted out of the game actually. The game crashed.
6 o'clock race 1 Saturday, 7 o'clock race 2 Sunday.
Hey?
That's what it says.
Well, we're telling him the information and he's not listening because he's watching some other fucking bullshit.
Oh, that's just gonna have to fucking do. Mike got it fucking wrong. He's had the server wrong twice. He got someone's wrong ID number. And then when he told me the server was set right, Dan then went, why is it set to midday? So, fuck it.
5, 6.
Yeah,
7.
Saturday 5 and 6. Practice and race.
Yeah, so
Sunday,
that's meant to be 5 and 7. The Sunday's correct, the race 1's an hour early. Oh, I'm not resetting it again, Mike, come bollocks.
Useless.
You knock me up on my feet now, baby.
Big fish. No fish.
Little fish.
Matthew, are you okay? Are you okay, Matthew?
Matthew,
Matthew, are you okay? Could you tell us that you're okay?
Stop the comms like that.
You got you. I can see you go.
Are you okay?
Matthew!
I'm going to shut the big window before the neighbours come round and mow my
Shimon, motherfucker.
Shimon!
Wanna climb a tree, little boy?
You wanna come to Nether now, little boy?
Alright.
I'm a real boy!
That's why I'm no hands.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man!
You do that. You do that really well from Shrek. You do, to be fair.
Well, she's married to the Muffin Man.
Keep him talking like this right until comms. You won't be able to get out of his head.
Fuck penis to get punched in the face.
Fire Devon's up there. We got a big order to fill.
Right.
Howdy ho. Oh no, the other one.
And a hand in a hole.
Go in there. Right.
It's a dog. Do you know the Duffin Man? The Duffin Man.
What a legend.
He's a smelly bastard.
She's married to the Duffin Man. The Duffin Man. talking.
I think you've done Jackie.
Oh. Oh.
It's a dog.
Is Cota in Texas?
I don't care.
Yes, it's in Austin, Texas.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, he needs to be announced like that every time he joins the party. It's a nothing man.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SimPlay Motorsport. My name is Dan Davis, and joining me in the Carl Ritchie box is the Daffy Man.
I'll give you 20 quid if you do that.
20 quid.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
Oh, fucking hell.
I'll shake on it.
Alright.
Oh dear.
Oh, now. Oh, funny.
You should hear my stitch. He's even better.
Damn. Oof, and breathe.
Oh, Hamler means family. Family means nobody gets left behind.
I don't know who that is.
Stitch. Do you not know Stitch? Stitch.
I've had a stitch.
Blue hats, Bagel!
Oh my, yeah, I agree. Twice
Hey,
on
Matt.
a Thursday.
Yeah?
Matt.
Yeah.
You're a big stupid doodle head.
The chuckle.
Right, jumping in the comms box. Best of luck, Jay, Tony. Good luck on the
Cheers, mate.
watching.
Yep. Good luck one.
Hello, hello, hello. 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 Diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-diddle, diddle-diddle-diddle. Hello. Hello. Why is there an echo? Oh yeah. Why can I hear it twice? Properties. Monitor off. Use device times 9 PM. No, I haven't. No. We'll see. Might just be because it's picking me up on the mic because it's close to my speakers, right? Let's find out. Let's keep sharing the stream around for now. In fact, we can mute back up the desktop audio. ACC PC console. I can imagine you are very tempted. Right, so I'm on mute in the Discord. Yes. Beautiful. For now as well. Right, start soon, go there like that. Right. Oh my god, it's hot. It's 25 degrees. It is here. Yeah, boy. I've just shared this in a Project Cars 2 group chat. Oh well, I don't give a shit. It's 5-2, so go live. Let's go. Yeah, mate. Have I? Oh, I'm using the Pro one, aren't I? I can edit out quickly now. Change. Google Drive, SimPlay, thumbnails, season 5, and 4. So. We've got a Nissan in the lobby. Yeah, he's re-signed up for this season. He's only just signed up. A 2093. He did, yeah. He only did a few races. Hopefully, he said he's hopefully going to make more. No, not yet. Yeah. You sound rejuvenated. You sound rejuvenated. Robert Smith looks decent. Bruno Diaz looks decent. His unmistaken identity. He's had a name change. Kieran's not done a lap. Dean's not yet in. There's 2 drivers missing. Massively. Massively. Yeah, Tim Ventink. They've also got another friend who is Max and Tim on the grid. Senna. I don't think he might be the driver who's not here yet. Yeah, it looks like he's the driver that's not here. Yeah, Tim and Max, they've got another guy that they just brought onto grid. His name's Senna Summit. But he doesn't look like he's the one who's here yet. No, it's Senna something. I'll tell you his name now. Oh, fuck's sake. Herwijger. Fuck knows. Herwijger. Herwijger. Fuck, wow. Yeah, Herwijger is what we're going with. Herwijger. Sweet. Yep. What are you typing? Have you got your Stetson on? Hey? Oh! Right. Yeah! Yes, I left it in my Mustang. It's with my horse. Nice. I need to move that far. Stand it up on there. You beauty. Right. Brilliant. Right, and we're going to go live. Not just yet. Tim's gone second quickest. Yeah. Right. 5, 4. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to SimPlay Motorsport here for another race as we approach the halfway stage of the season. We are getting ready for some fantastic action here in Houston, Texas. It is the COTA race tonight, and this is what is going to be up for story. It's going to be a fantastic night of action, and let me tell you, the heat is causing an issue out there with some of the tyres. It is going to be a big one tonight. It's the evening race as well, so 5, 6 and 7 p.m. is the times. They are what the drivers are going to have to face tonight, but we'll see what will happen throughout this race. I'm joined in the commentary box once again by Dan Davis. Dan, good evening. It's a hot one tonight, and it's going to be hotter for these drivers. Yeah, looking forward to this one indeed. It's going to be an interesting one to say the least, and it's going to be a fascinating one to see what the drivers can do around this circuit. Now, being told there's an audio echo, so I am just going to try something for a moment and just see if that works. So please tell me if that does work and if that has been picked up a-okay. It looks all right so far on my end. We'll just get Dan to do another chat test. Obviously still working on this Discord. Yeah, Tibbs will be very happy with it. Now, I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to jump into the normal party chats. This is not working with the Discord option. It will work for the interviews. We'll get it sorted for the interviews. Yeah, they're saying better, but now we can't hear you, is my problem. I've got it on my Switch, and the whole time it's been quiet. They can't hear Dan, is my problem. I'm just still listening a second where Dan would have been talking. And I'm waiting for me to say Tibbs. So we will jump into the normal SimPlay commentary box. Dan, if you're able to get in there first and invite me, and I'll keep the chat going so far for now. And what we'll have to do is we'll have to look into this Discord problem. It looks like what it is while I was in the PC on the Discord account on the PC, that's where the double echo was coming from. It looks like we're going to have to do interviews from that to pick up to match with Dan at the end of the night. So it looks like that's where we'll have to do interviews for. So that is a shame, but it is one of them. So we'll have to wait to see what happens as the evening goes on. We're just waiting for Dan to invite us to the party chat for the comms box. So we are here, we are live, and it is the race night. At the minute it is Dizzle quickest from Tim Venting. Richie Michelle currently the third fastest driver out there at the moment. From Justin Winter looks alright in the Porsche. Robert Smith is currently fifth. Bruno Diaz, aka Unmistaken Identity, P6. Michael back on the grid, returning face from last season. He is back with us this year to try and hopefully get that Nissan some more points. He's up in P7. S2M Burrabex from Naval RT Gomez, and it is Brian Craig, Max Mulder, Dennis Hansen with Sam, Paul Williams, Mirko Ritchie, Bark Lund. Now, apologies if I've mispronounced the name, but Bark Lund is also with us. He will be out there on the circuit, as well as John Gooday, Dean, Mark Tucker, DJ Phil Green, Diego Flores, John Andrews, Kieran Argent, Cranky Duckhead, Darren Bell, Micro Jays, and then we are away to two more, another new driver, and Dean Wasocki. But so far, it is BMW from Ferrari, Porsche, BMW, Lamborghini. The top McLaren is 8th place at the moment. So it's going to be an interesting one to see where this McLaren's going to feed out so far. We are just awaiting the invite into the comms box, which we haven't had yet. I believe Dan has started it and needs to add this account into it. So yeah, don't forget, we are here for the fifth, 7th and 8th round of COTA. It's going to be a fantastic night's worth of action. It's going to be a fantastic night's worth of racing as well, to see what the drivers can do around this great circuit. And a bit of everything COTA has. We'll get more into that with Dan Davis when he gets me in the party chat. But let's just see how we can do it. In fact, what I'll be able to do is get it up on the phone and get it in that way. This is now going to be one of the more tricky races. Like we said, it's a very hot evening here. You see the track temp of 43 degrees. You can see the air temperature of 38 degrees. It is a hot day, and it is a absolute scorcher. It is going to be an absolute nightmare for these drivers to try and take on this challenge. And it will be a nightmare for these drivers to try and get through. Now, we have been invited to the party. We'll get in there and we'll be able to hear Dan's lovely voice as we get into the party chat now. Believe we are in. Dan, can you hear us?
I can.
All right, and I believe we will have you. I'm just going to double check. But I'm just saying, Dan, that this COTA circuit built a bit of everything, and it is a tricky track to get right.
It is indeed. It's a very tricky circuit to get right. Obviously split into 3 different sectors. I don't know what you said, because obviously I've not had you live, but I'm pretty sure you've explained that the track is set up as 3 different circuits, and probably some of the most famous corners in the entire world to come up with this weird complex of circuit. And yeah, you really want a high downforce setup going through the first sector, the fast swooping corners, and then in the middle sector you want that straight line advantage that the Mustang is probably going to be strong with, and then in the final sector you want a good mechanical grip so you're able to get through the slow speed corners as well. So a circuit that really, ideally you need 3 different setups, but one car can't run that. But yeah, definitely a circuit that requires a lot of patience, and only the true pure fans will love this one.
Yeah, the true pure motorsport fans will love this one. The championship standings then look as follows as we head towards that halfway stage of the season, which would be next week. But obviously with them extra 2 weeks on the calendar this season, it's in 2 weeks' time. It is Max Mulder has a 10-point lead in this championship fight, and so far down in 11th place, but he is 10 points clear of this man Dizzle, who's been fantastic with Max Mulder all season. S2M Burrabex is then next on the list. He's currently 8th fastest overall at the moment. He is sitting 41 points off the back before John Gooday, who really we haven't seen the best of until last week at Brands Hatch in the Aston Martin V8. Richie Michelle second fastest overall. He is currently P5 in the championship from Sam in there in his Aston Martin V8. So 2 Aston Martins going great guns at the moment. After Sam, it is Fat Bloke in his Mercedes-Benz, who is not here tonight. Then it is Justin Winter, where that Porsche looks lively, and the last thing you want tomorrow night is a lively Porsche, let me tell you. Gary 131, he's got fond memories of starting races at COTA. Now, that was standing starts in a Formula 1 car, but moments that he will never forget, and we will never forget, or let him forget as well. But I'm sure others will mention that tomorrow night. Graham is P9 in the championship. He's not here tonight. Before it is then Brian Craig, who is currently P10 and P10 on circuit as well. Robert Smith going great guns in his BMW tonight so far, P5. He is 11th in this championship before Paul Williams in his Lamborghini, just looking like he's struggling a little bit tonight, down in 15th place out there on the circuit, before Mirko Ricci, who is P16 out there as well. Cranky Duckhead in his Honda yet set a lap time, and we'll get into why he's probably yet set a lap time. He's P14 before the unmistaken identity, who has had a name change for today. It is Bruno Diaz, so he's willing to use his actual name out on the stream, so that'll be changed for him. Then it is Naval Gomez in his Ford Mustang. Going to be interesting to see what the Mustang can do around this circuit. He lines up, he's currently P10, he's P16 overall. Diego Flores in his Porsche is next to the championship. He is currently going from P17. P18 is out of Micro J's, who's not yet gone out in practice at the moment. Possibly a wise thing. It is Ferrari Dean, who's P18 overall at the moment, who is sitting there. Then it is D Bell, Darren Bell, yet set a lap time as well. He's P25. From then Tim Venting, who's looking like he's got a bit of pace today. He's up in 4th in the overall standings so far. Dennis Hansen, back from last week. He is down in 13th place at the moment. What will he be able to do before DJ Phil Green, who is struggling today as well? Is he on the pad or the wheel? Who knows? He's 23rd. Kieran Argent in his Mustang, currently out on the circuit. He's P24 before Mark Tucker is in P25. Andrew Taylor, P26, not able to be with us tonight. John Andrews comes after them. Then it is Dean Wysocki yet to come out the pits as well, before Nuke Quace, not here tonight. The Jackal will probably be with us for race 2. P. Raiden not with us tonight. Oliver not with us tonight. MB Pitts changed to a reserve. He's currently unable to to race at the moment. Has a bit of an injury sustained to him. Romeo also not here tonight. He's a reserve. He is missing tonight. Then it is Senna. Now we practice this name off air. We're going with Herwijzer. Max, if that's wrong, please tell me, and please tell me how to pronounce it. Then it is Michael in his Nissan, who is currently doing bits at the moment, obviously yet to score. And then it is, and again, apologies for the pronunciation, we're going with Björk Lund. That's what we're going with. Björk Lund is what we're going with that one. We'll just call him Lund for the sake of the stream. That is your current championship standings, though the constructors looks a little like this. It is BSP Racing leading 9 points clear then of Greasy Bandits Racing, the current constructors champion. Stage 2 Motorsport, a 3rd place with Team FBR in 4th. Richie Corsa P5, they're 43 points behind, so 5 teams really in the mix there. Team Merlot P6 with FSO Junior Racing Team P7. The Greasy Bandit Juniors, they are P8 as an independent outfit. Vorta Racing P9 as an independent outfit, and Forever Forward Racing independent in 10th place. But them guys are separated by 7 points. Now, Dan, as we was going through them championship standings there, we was mentioning that Kieran Argent, Darren Bell, Cranky Duckhead, all yet to have a lap time on the board, but have yet circulated the circuit. That is because the track limits around here are an absolute nightmare.
That's a bit of an understatement, I think. Basically, COTA's circuit is, I'm not sure who we're on board with, but if we are on board
Diego
with somebody,
Flores.
Diego Flores, where is Diego? Anyway, if you're looking on the circuit, basically Diego, his track limits is basically white lines. If you cross any of the white lines, whether it's a curb or not, you are going to get penalised. And with a circuit like this, it is very easy to run wide, carry too much speed, as Diego Flores has done, and that's going to be a lap time invalidated for him on that one. And that is literally how tricky it is. No matter how, whether it's an inch, whether it's a mile, if you cross that white line, they will not allow it here in America, which you would have thought on a circuit like this it would be a bit more lenient, but clearly not. as Diego Flores is going down into the middle sector now. I don't know if we're still on board with him because
we are. Yeah. No, apologies. I was just having a cough.
This sector is where it's really going to really struggle, because you want to abuse the curves as much as you can and try and take as much speed through them as possible. But as I said, that white line, as soon as you put the 2 outside tyres across it, you're done.
Yeah, you are done. And this is where it's going to be tricky, because you're getting track limits in places that you don't really expect to get the track limits, and it is going to be a very tricky part of the circuit for these drivers. It is only Diego Flores who was out there on lap, but must have validated it as we now head straight into the race. The grid order then is as follows. It is Bjarke Lund who will be on pole position from Michael. Deanwood Sockie is P3. That is because Senna and the Jackal are not here for this one. John Andrews is, although if they get in, they will appear, I assume they will appear, no, they'll probably appear dead last now because of the fact they haven't got on the grid. So then it will be John Andrews, after that Mark Tucker, Kieran Argent. So row 1, 2, 3 will be Mark Tucker and Kieran Argent. Row 4 will be DJ Phil and Dennis Hansen. Row 5 will be Tim Venting and Darren Bell. Row 6, Dean and Micro Jays. Row 7, Diego Flores and Naval Gomez. Row 8, Bruno Diaz from Cranky Duckhead. Row 9, Mirko, Richie and Paul Williams. Row 10, Robert Smith and Brian Craig. Row 11, Justin Winter and Sam. Row 12, Richie Michelle and John Gooday. Row 13, Esteban Burrabex and Dizzle. And on his own on row 14, Max Mulder. Now, track limit's going to be the key, but not only is that the key, Dan, for the invalidated lap times, it will also hurt you in terms of them track limits warnings. We could see some drive-through stop-go penalties tonight.
20 seconds.
Could do, or the drivers could be sensible and learning their limits, but we will find this out very shortly. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out, and I think to some of the guys I was speaking to, we've had a couple of races where it was all about raw pace, which was Snat. We then go to Red Bull again, that was just pure pace and who had the confidence around in the wet. We then went to Brands and it was all about strategy and overtaking and trying to find out when the best time to pit. Here it's going to be about consistency. It's all going to be about who doesn't cross that white line, who stays within the limits, and who can look after the tyres in this heat. Because obviously the more and more the tyres overheat, the more and more likely you'll cause your car to be twitchy and more at risk of crossing that white line. So it is going to be an interesting one to see, not just for the Pro-Ams, but I think even the pros are going to struggle with this week.
Yeah, I completely agree there, 100%. It is going to be an interesting one to find out who will do what. Then, Dan, who's your money on from this first race?
I'm going to go with Tim on this one.
Okay. I'm going to go Richie Michelle. Let's go something different. Yeah, let's go something different.
Interesting.
Let's find out. In terms of the most successful driver around this COTA circuit, it is that of the Overtaker. He's gone well here in the past, but let's not forget he's gone well here on Project Cars 2. This is the first time we're running this circuit on the Assetto Corsa Competizione platform. Oakball has a win and 2 wins and a pole to his name. Overtaker 2 poles and 3 wins. Max Mulder's got a win and a pole. Dean Wasocki has a win here. Monkey Boy a win and a pole. Gary Leach a win and a pole. Little Leach, blast from the past, he's got a win, as does Emo Guy. Peaceful Explosion actually has 2 pole positions here. Leon Fernie a pole position, as does NJ, that Buzzy Boy, Graham Sutcliffe and Holty. They're all the drivers with pole positions. BMW could take its 50th pole tonight in that second qualifying session a little later on, and 3 drivers will be on qualifying bans as well a little later on this evening. And from there we will see what will happen. But the drivers, Dan, on a long lap halfway through. John Gooday, Dan, I'm just looking, has missed the start of the race.
That's probably not a bad thing. He's near the back of the pack anyway, but yeah, he has missed the race start, and yeah, we'll see how that pans out. But it will start in pit lane. He won't be out massively, and he won't be a lap down, more importantly, and he might miss the chaos of turn 1. So who knows? But yeah, there's currently a poll going up on who you think is going to win this first race. I've gone to put the poll man, Michael, Dennis, and other. So if you think it's somebody else other than the 3 above, then obviously put other, and obviously to write down in the chat who you think is going to win this one. Let's hear from you guys, and let's get some interaction in the stream, as we do like to hear from you guys, and we do want to give you all the best show that we possibly can.
And while we're speaking to the chat, good evening to Ian Gray, Fury's Grandad PM Motorsport.
Motorsport, and Gary Clarball, as well as Richard Beasley in there as well. And Gary, best of luck on the get well soon, should we say. Another one to mention as well is Nova declined for tomorrow night, and we want to wish Gary Burton and his partner massive congratulations on the birth of their baby. He didn't mention if it was son or daughter, so congratulations, Gary, if you're watching, on the birth of your child. Apparently it's a couple of weeks old now, and that's why he's not been able to test as much and hasn't been on as much either. So going to be an interesting one to see what he does when he comes back. Obviously managing that fatherhood life now. I don't know if he has any other kids, but a massive congratulations to Gary and his partner there. We are coming into the final corner now. Who is going to take this race win? It is Bjarke Lund from Michael on pole position. Clarball's going for K Argent. That is a shout for him, and that is going to be an interesting one. But from 6th place, who knows what will happen. As for round 6 this season, the Pro-Am drivers are going to come around the final bend. They are going to come down towards the start line, and we are going to be green and go momentarily in this race. It's going to be absolutely huge to see who will do what. They're all bunching up here. They've all took their time. They're all keeping their tyres in check. It's a drive-through penalty for car 75 down the order, but we are green and go as we head up towards turn 1. That is Michael already covering off Dean Wysocki in towards the first corner, all heavily and hard onto the brakes. Dizzle's the man with the drive-through. It is all congested. I don't know what happened to Bjarke Lund there, but Michael's got into the lead, and Dean Wysocki has managed to get up to 2nd place. Ferrari Dean is facing the wrong way down the order. Let's take a look a bit further down. Dean is facing the wrong way with a few of the drivers. A lot of people have managed to stay out of trouble there, and as they all filter through the first sector, Bruno's now been... Oh, he's well off. He is well off, is Bruno. And John Gooday, only just coming out of the pits now, has managed to avoid a lot of chaos.
He has indeed, and like I said, John Gooday being in the pit lane, he's obviously now only just come up into turn 1. But your leader is now Michael in the Nissan, which is an interesting choice of car. But already Tim is up into 2nd place and is already trying to hunt down the leader, with Dean Wysocki right behind him as well. So Dean's had a fairly decent start, with Lunda sat in P4, with John Andrews just dropping down the order, but everyone getting caught up in that first corner incident by the looks of things.
It does, as well as Dizzle's got the drive-through penalty. They're all coming towards the sector time now, so it is Michael with Tim Ventink right on the back of him here by 0.4 of a second. Dean's got a bit of breathing space as Kieran Argent's and looking up the inside later on the brakes in towards the hairpin corner. There you go, and Kieran Argent moves up into P4. Great move over Bjarke Lund there. John Andrews is currently P6, ahead then of Diego Flores and DJ Phil Green. Then it's Mirko Ricci, who's got Richie Michelle coming up his inside, and they're jostling for position through the Hockenheim Stadium section. That is Mirko Ricci very wide, and that's a couple of cars together. That is championship leader Max Mulder, who is backwards. Believe he made contact with Naval Gomez. Mirko Ricci caught up in that one as well, and down the order there's drivers all over the place at the minute. Bruno Diaz, Burra Bex, Cranky Ducker, Dean and John Gooday, who is still some 6 seconds off the back, and Max Mulder's been disqualified.
He's missed the corner. He's missed half the circuit. That's what's happened. I was watching him return back to pits, and obviously he's just straight lined the corner, and they deemed that to be a massive corner cut, and he's been disqualified for it, as Tim, now his teammate, is attacking for the race lead up into turn 1.
He is attacking for the race lead up into turn 1, and there's no corner names here, and he gets it done at turn 1. Gets a lovely undercut over Michael there. Kieran Argent has also got past Dean Wysocki. He's now onto the podium. Dean coming under some pressure from Bjarke Lund then, and it is Richie Michelle who's putting pressure on DJ Phil around the outside, coming into the Maggots Beckett's type area, and all these corners at Kota are just T1 all the way through to T18 or whatever it is, and Richie Michelle past DJ Phil. Further down the field we've got Brian Craig with his teammates on the back of him, and they're trying to get on the rear end of Darren Bell. Drive-through cleared for Diz. A Diz drive-through penalty. John Andrews in the pits already, and Max Mulder disqualified. That'll be no points for Max Mulder in this opening race, Dan. Good job for drop scores, because this will help him out.
This will indeed, and Dizzle gets to get a bit of a sigh of relief as well, seeing that Max Mulder is been disqualified. So Dizzle's drive-through, both of the championship contenders struggling already at the start of COTA, and already the Texas circuit is already bringing chaos as Tim leads the way.
Brian Craig there really late onto the brakes, up into the first hairpin, manages to get the move done over that of Darren Bell, and now he's taking his teammate Mark Tucker with him. They're currently fighting for 12th, 13th and 14th on the circuit. It is McLaren versus McLaren. Tucker will have the inside line coming down towards the hairpin. Can he make this move, stick up the inside of Darren Bell? He's going to look, he's going to have a think about it, and does he get it done? Still side by side, still very tight together, gets it done on exit B. Craig now hassling the back of Micro J's as DJ Phil loses out to Dennis Hansen once more. Battle down the order, Cranky Duckhead on the back of Naval Gomez, and where is John Gooday? He's got past Mirko Ricci. He's on the back of his ex-teammate Dean, who is trying to gain on the back of Cranky Duckhead.
Dizzle hasn't actually lost too much. He's just on the back of the pack, really, as they're all now crossing the start-finish line. He's in the final sector, so Dizzle hasn't really lost out massively as Tim crosses the start-finish line with a healthy lead, but Michael's still there or thereabouts. He's just losing a little bit of time, but Arjun setting fastest lap of the race in P3 as Dean Wasoki's got Lunda behind him and giving him a hard time.
He is giving him a hard time. This is on board Dean Wasoki climbing up the hill to turn 1. This is Lund just behind, who's going to try and have a look. He looks patient at the moment. Dean has a win here. He won actually on the last season of Project Cause 2 in the Pro-Am around this circuit. Beat Max Mulder in a final fantastic lap of the race in the Acura, if you remember back that far ago. And Dean will know this track well, but he gets it horribly wrong through the Maggots Beckett section. That is Justin Winter with Richie Michel on the back of him. Michel Dan, he's also coming through the field here because he is flying.
He is indeed. I'm busy looking at the contact between the guys further back. That was Robert Smith and Tucker. They made contact going into the Maggots and Beckett section of COTA as the Sam has been dicing his way through the pack. And Nova, can you tell us whether if it's a boy or a girl, please? That would be lovely. Yeah, all sorts of chaos there.
All sorts of chaos there. John Gooday now fastest lap of the race. Gomez, Burra Becks, DJ Phil, Mirko Ricci all into the pitch. John Andrews pitted a little bit too early, you feel, as Bjork Lund now has got Richie Michel and Justin Winter right on the back of him. He is still up the gearbox of Dean Wasoki, all heading down towards the hairpin, and it is for fourth place at the moment. Richie Michel's having a look on Lund, not going to make that one stick there as Michel and Justin Winter, with Diego Flores only 3 seconds back. Then there's battles elsewhere. Jay's got Darren Bell and Paul Williams, and not quite Robert Smith because he's got big damage on his car. Looks like he's had another problem somewhere in this one as well. But Dean Wasoki at the minute has a train of cars on the back of him. It is BMW, McLaren, Ferrari and Porsche all following Dean Wasoki as they come through now the Istanbul section of the circuit.
This is where the Porsche should be the strongest out of all these cars, and it is pressurising the back of the Ferrari. Well, Dean, with that straight line advantage that he'll have on the rest of them. Oh, the McLaren's made a mistake, and Winter has nowhere to go but up the rear end of the McLaren, and Tim is already pitting.
So Tim is already into the pits, and Dean Wasoki's made a mistake out the final corner. This is Richie Michel's opportunity, going side by side up towards turn 1 as they climb up the steep hill now here in Texas. Micro J's, Darren Bell, Paul Williams and Tim Ventink in the pits as Dean tries to turn in, but Richie Michel is there, and Michel moves up to 5th place. So far so good though, you have to say, for Dean Wasoki, not made the errors we normally see him make. We're nearly halfway through this race.
He's being consistent, he's just getting through the pack, and he's probably one of the only few who's actually got a clean car by the looks of things. So Dean Wasoki surviving at this stage at the minute. But Michael leads now from Arjun, from Richie Michel, from Dean Wasoki, from Justin Winter to Lunda, to Diaz, to Dennis, to Brian, Craig, and then Sam is your top 10. Dean Wasoki's actually had a moment, he's dropped it, just as we were saying he was being consistent.
He has as well. He's lost out to Justin Winter, Lund and Diego Flores de Hansen as well. Not sure where he is, and that'll probably be the tyres. And Dean Wasoki's now got to wait. Yep, he's probably done the tyres in there. That, I believe, was then Robert Smith going past. So Dean's gone from 5th down to 12th at the moment. Dizzle now setting the fastest lap of the race, and Tim Ventink Dan out the pits through the Maggots and Beckett section is right behind. He's not right behind, but is close to the back of Dean. Car 32. That is Mirko Ricci, who's had another moment as the leaders are going to be gaining on him. So Tim Ventink is. Dean's just gone through the hairpin. Dean's gone through the hairpin. Tim's coming down to the hairpin. So good pit stop really from Tim. Out front, pitted well. Michael now has that clear air to maybe pump in some good lap times and gain on the car as well.
Yeah, definitely so. He's just focusing on his lap times at the minute, and just he's probably looking after the tyres now. He's got to roughly the halfway stage. They've cooled off a little bit from the heat, and now he's just got to slowly work his way through the pack, which most of them would start to pit, like Michael is now, and Argent. Will he opt to pit now, or is he going to stay a little bit longer? Argent is opting to pit. So most of the leaders are now starting to pit, except for Richie Michelle and Justin Winter. Winter is right on the back wing once again of Richie Mitchell.
He is as well, and that is Diego Flores coming in. Brian Craig stays out. Sam will also come in. Bruno Diaz, what will he do? There was another car staying out there. Diaz stays out, as does Smith. Dean Wysocki might want to opt to pit now, maybe get them tyres to cool down a little bit. Not worth changing them in race one. Dean Wysocki straight in. Dizzle as well, he goes through, as Ferrari Dean will stay out. So Tim Ventink here coming through Istanbul. Michael in the pit lane. Michael is stationary now. I can tell you, Dan, for a loss in the pit lane with a tyre change, I've been doing my calculations and trying to figure this one out. A loss in the pit lane with a tyre change will cost you 64 seconds. Take 5 seconds off of that, you're 59 seconds in and out without the tyre change. So very interesting to see what pit stops is what. Michael has gone green. Where is Tim Ventink? He's already thrown up towards turn 1. He has cleared the traffic and away he goes.
Yeah, the only one who can stop Tim now is himself. So as long as he looks after the car and keeps the tyres in a nice window where they're not going to be overheating too much, he should be able to bring this home relatively easy while the rest of the pack are still fighting. The one I'm going to keep an eye on is Dizzle. Obviously, he's got no damage to the car. He's managed to survive a couple of laps, and he's pumping in fastest laps. So we'll see what Dizzle can do, even though Max Mulder has been disqualified due to cutting a corner. But obviously he didn't expect that to happen. But we're in this situation, and Dizzle can crawl some points or extend the points once he eventually goes in front, obviously with the drop scores in place.
He can indeed. So Tim Ventink from Michael from Argent. That is after the Sector 1 time. That's John Andrews, sorry, in the background. Just noting there, Sam is currently P13 from P. Williams, Diego Flores, Dean Wysocki, John Gooday, Micro Jakes, Cranky Ducker, Darren Bell, Gomez, DJ Phil, Tucker, Borough Becks, Mirko Ritchie, John Andrews then in the background. They are the guys that have pitted. Robert Smith is now gaining on the back of Bruno Diaz in this race at the moment. He is the man who is on a charge so far. Any drivers opting to pit, the top two do not. Björk Lund comes into the pit lane. Good evening to Peaceful Explosion, Terranova, and to Peaceful Stepdad, as does B. Craig. Bruno Diaz is going to pit as well. Robert Smith will stay out. What about Dizzle now then? Does Dizzle opt to pit? And damn, this strategy from Richie Michelle, is it a good one, even though he's got Winter up his rear end? Does this mean that he's going to be able to try and claw some time back over Tim Ventink?
I wouldn't be looking at Tim. I'd be worried about the car behind him. I mean, to be honest, my question is, why is Justin Winter sitting behind him? You know, it's just like he needs to get the clean air, and he's stuck behind the Ferrari, and he's losing time behind them. And you can see the car is struggling in the downforce, and it's just losing all form of grip. And congratulations on the baby girl, Nova, and hopefully you'll get her onto the sim rig soon and get her training and ready to join SimPlay Motorsport very, very shortly. But give her some time, you know, obviously, you know, let her just enjoy life for the, you know, the next like couple of days, but then get her on the rig. But Justin Winter though, really hustling the back of this Ferrari right now.
He is as well, and that is John Andrews. Looks like he's got big damage. He's off the racing line. He's pulled to the side of the road. He's crawling around, keeping out of everybody's way. So he's clearly had a moment in that BMW so far. Tim Ventink has passed all the pit runners at the moment. So as Michael, as the timing screen does update, where then is Kieran Argent? Yeah, Dizzle is in, and so is Dean still. They're on their way out now. I'm just looking to see where Kieran Argent is on the timing screens. It's not updated yet, so we'll keep our eyes on that. He now updates now. He does go into a net third place, but where will these two fill into this one? Having a great scrap at the moment, all these two drivers. Micro Jays is within a tenth of of Diego Flores. He's not within a tenth. He's up the inside. Can Jay get it done on the exit? No, little slow on exit there for Micro J's. That is not what he wanted. Didn't look quite right there. Dean Musaki, after his spin and moments, he's dropped down to 19th place. He's right on the rear wing of the cranky duckhead. Richie Michel pits. Justin Winter keeps going. What about Dennis Hansen and Robert Smith? These two is in the background. Hansen is in. Robert Smith, is he going to keep going here? This is going to be the interesting one for me. Looks like he had a bit of front end damage. He keeps on going as well. So interesting call this from Justin Winter, and I suppose we're going to see if Winter pits. He's really got to pit at the end of this one. He's not going to be able to do another one because it's 2 minutes 9 a lap, so he's got to pit at the end of this. He's going to run out of time by the time he comes round again.
But has he overcooked the tyres? That's the question. Another comment as well. I've been keeping an eye on him ever since his drive-through. Dizzle is up into 14th place position. So he has recovered, and he's now on the inside for 13th place position on the pole man, and he gets the job done. And I'm pretty sure he should be able to catch the Lamborghini and the Aston Martin of John Goudet and Paul Williams. So there's still more points to gain for Dizzle here. Well, Max Mulder has to sit on the sideline and watch as Richie Michel has gone green, and Tim Ventink has already gone into turn 1. Michael is now heading up to turn 1, but Richie Michel will jump, might be close to Argent.
Yeah, Argent's coming into the final corner now. Richie Michel's not yet off the limiter, and here comes Argent. So Argent will be at top speed by the time he gets towards turn 1. Richie Michel will not be. He's only just come off the limiter. Argent may have just been jumped by Richie Michel, going even longer here in towards turn 1. They come. Argent around the outside. He's overcooked it. He's overcooked it. Pushing too hard, and now he's had to let Sam go, so he's cost himself 4th place at the moment is Kieran Argent. He's made his own mistake, Dan, and he really just overcooked that going into the first corner.
Yeah, he was desperate to stay in front of that car and just outbraked himself and went too far and spun round. So not only has he just missed the position and lost the position to Sam and Richie Michel, he's also probably cooked those tyres and flat spotted them as well, which are going to be horrible to run now as he starts working his way through. Meanwhile, Dizzle is already onto the rear wing of Paul Williams as they head through the Maggots and Beckett section.
He is. We're currently on the Istanbul section of the circuit where Esteban Burabeks, another man up there in the championship, can gain points over Max Mulder. Struggling tonight though, he's on the rear of Mark Tucker. Dizzle's got the job done on Paul Williams. He can now head after John Goudet. Battle as well, that is Burabeks, like we said, on Tucker, currently coming into the penultimate corner, no, the final corner, heading down towards turn 1 now, just on the rear end of him as Justin Winter pits just ahead of them. Excuse me, as does Robert Smith. So now this will be interesting to see where Justin Winter, because if Michel was close to Argent and Argent's made that mistake, will Winter be close to Argent?
Oh, definitely so. If he was right on the rear wing of the Ferrari. It all depends how if he's repaired the damage or not. If he's repaired damage, then we expect him to obviously lose out. But if he's not repaired the damage, then he should feel right behind or even in front of Richie Michel, depending on how well his in-lap was.
Yeah, indeed. We'll wait for that to go green. Bjarke Lund is on the back of Paul Williams now, just looking down the order. You've still got Burabeks on the rear of Tucker, so Winter goes green. Ventink has gone through. Here comes Michael. You see Justin Winter on the right hand side of your screen pulling out his pit box. Richie Michel coming into the final corner. So I think he'll be close with Richie Michel. You know, we saw Michel be close to Argent at this stage. Not going to be as close, I don't think. Here comes Richie Michel. Winter is off his limiter. Now this will probably be a bit closer with Ada Sam. We're expecting Richie Michel to cruise through. There he goes. Sam, will he cruise through? No, he won't. So Justin Winter on the back of not on the back, but in between Richie Michel and Sam and Argent, really effectively now. Dan has lost 3 places by going in too hot into turn 1.
Yeah, he has pretty much, and he just needed to keep it cool, calm and collected. Would have been probably speaking to him on the podium, but Argent obviously still getting used to the new version of ACC. Oh, Justin Winter, whoa, had a massive slide. But yeah, Archer is still getting used to the new layout of the circuit, the new layout of the game, the new characteristics, and the Mustang as well was another thing for him to learn. But obviously it's all fresh and new for him. But Winter, I was just on board with him, and he was more sideways than forwards on that one. That was crazy.
Pit window is now closed, and we've got Paul Williams with Bjarke Lund all over the back of him, right up the rear wing, underneath the rear wing of the Lamborghini. The Lamborghini, not the favoured car for around here. It actually on the BOP system, looking at the weight in terms of, you can see what cars are sort of more suited to this track. The Lamborghini actually loses a lot of weight. Obviously, Bop not introduced for this season, but this might be why. As well as that damage at Paul Williams, is just struggling a little bit so far. We've got Naval Gomez on the rear of Dean Wasocki. That is 4/10 in that one. It's not now. Dean's had a moment out the corner. Naval gets through. We'll keep our eyes on Lund on the back of P. Williams.
Argent's got massive pressure right now. Argent's under immense pressure from Robert Smith and Dennis at the minute. They're both hustling the back of the Mustang at this stage.
Literally just changed the back of that battle, as you said. And yeah, you're right, Argent has that pressure from Robert Smith and has that pressure from then Dennis Hansen in the McLaren just a bit further back as well. And there is one lap to go. Tim Ventink is on the final lap of the race, and Argent's gone from P3 down to P6, but he'll be looking for a good strong result in the Mustang. He'll be the highest finished Mustang of recent weeks, really, because we've not seen the best of the Mustang.
Dennis
Obviously still learning it, and Dennis sending it behind on Robert Smith. That'll help Argent out, and he's got the move done. He's giving it back though, Dan.
Yeah, he missed his break in and just shoved his way through, but Dennis really pushing the limits there, and he literally just shoved him out of the way. And to be fair, he was fair and honest there and gave the position back.
Fair and honest and give the position back. That is great to see. John Andrews has struggled in this one. He's 4 laps down, but he's finished the race, so that is a-okay for him. He's kept going in this one, but that will be for John Andrews a 26th finish. 26th place finish in this one then. So already some battles heating up at the end of this race. Justin Winter gaining on the back of Richie Michel, and there's a drive through for Dennis Hansen, Dan. So he's in the thick of a fight for P6, and he's just picked up a drive through penalty on the last lap of the race. Can you believe it?
Just when you all thought it was just going to go, he was probably sitting there thinking, don't cross that wide, don't cross that wide. Just an inch, like I said, and it has hurt him. But to be fair, I was expecting more drive-throughs than this, and Dennis the first one to get one, so not good for him at the minute. But Tim, meanwhile, is coming into the final sector now, and yeah, Max Mulder in the chat saying BSP on top, but sadly, he couldn't cut the corner. He might have been joining him, but Tim, what a phenomenal drive. Took the lead, and one in the bag already, Matt. One in the bag.
One in the bag already for Dan Davis in terms of his predictions, but Tim Ventink's gone around the final corner. I believe he's won before at SimPlay Motorsport back in the F1 days when he drove the Alpine, so it's not his first win. It'll be his first GT3 win here at SimPlay Motorsport, but Tim Ventink will take the checkered flag. Great race win for him. Michael coming back in the Nissan. That is impressive to put the Nissan on the podium in its first outing in second place. Really well done for him. Richie Michel is hanging on in there over Justin Winter, but looks like he's going to hang on for that P3 in this race. It's been absolutely great for Richie Michel, a good podium for him, and then Justin Winter 4th, Sam P5, Kieran Argent will hang on for that P6. Good stuff for him as Dennis Hansen comes into the pits. Robert Smith will be 7th. 8th place now will go the way of Bruno Diaz, and this is where we're going to have to pick up everybody as they cross the line. 30-second penalty for Dennis Hansen. He's probably lost out more by not getting to the end of this race. He's probably lost out more by struggling and not crossing the line as these two finish the race. That is Paul Williams and Jacques Lund for 14th place. Micro J's on the back of Dean. This will be for 15th and 16th place. He got ahead of Diego Flores, did Jay, a couple of laps ago. Gonna look into the final corner. It's a short run to the line. Hasn't got the traction out. That's unlucky for Micro J's. He's been gaining on these two all race. Dean from Jay from Diego Flores. No, it will be Gomez, sorry, on the back of him. Diego Flores has dropped down another place. He's got his teammate DJ Phil Green just behind him. In fact, they've also lost out to Darren Bell and to Dean Wasocki. So what happened to Diego Flores? And DJ Phil at the end, yeah. So there we go. Cranky Duckhead is going to come to the line in 22nd. And then Burra Beck's a race to forget for him, really, in this one. He's going to cross the line P23, and Mark Tucker will cross that line in P24. So great racing in this one to start with. Dan takes a 1-0 lead, if you will, in this battle tonight in the commentary box of predictions, and it's Tim Ventink who gets his first GT3 race win. We'll be back though in a few moments time with the second qualifying at race 2. Don't go anywhere. Tim Ventink who gets his first GT3 race win. We'll be back though in a few moments time with the second qualifying at race 2. Don't go anywhere. We are clear. Right, so I could do these points. So did John hang in over Dizzle? He did. Tucker was down the order.
Dizzle got some points back on Max.
24. Yeah, he did. B. Craig, 9th. DJ Phil, 20th.
Drag it back.
Flores, 21. Borough Bex, 23. P. Williams, 12th. Max DNF, disqualification. Darren, 18th.
Green light, give it all you got.
Ferrari Dean, 15th. Mirko, 25th. Right, hang on, I need to also post in Discord. At Mirko, at Dean, at Gomez. You all have a quali ban. Remain in pits. Right, so Cranky 22nd, Dean Wasaki 19th, Micro J's 16th, Argent 6th, no, sorry, Diz 11th with fastest lap, Argent 6th, Graham's not here. Gomez 17th, Diaz 8th, Hansen 14th, Lund 13th. Bang, done. Right, so work out the tables. Right. So BSP lead it by 1 point. Diz leads the title by 11. Obviously drop scores worked out. Richie Gooday, Max. I'm just going to run to the toilet. Oh, I'm back.
Yeah.
I've got something funny to tell you too.
Go for it.
I've had a text off it.
I am streaming.
Dean not be watching your stream, will he?
Oh, don't know. Good not. Hang on, let me pause it. Pause broadcast. Right, you good?
It's Dean's dog's birthday, and apparently there's Rob texts me saying, have you seen the video of Dean singing happy birthday to his dog?
What the fuck?
Just thought I'd fill you in. I'm going to find the video before we join the party later.
Love it. Get it viral. Alright.
So, bear with me. After the race, I'll find it.
Nice. Good stuff.
Also, have you seen the Georgia score?
Yes, yeah, Tony's been watching.
Yeah, fucking damn right. They've been the better team. I've had it on, but I've not looked. Oh, God. Good. How was that one, Jay?
I bumped someone at the start there. I don't know if a ticket is going to go in, but I deserve it if it does. It felt a little towards the end. The tyres did feel a little iffy. Yeah, broke traction a couple of times through the S's, but other than that, yeah, felt okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
Nice.
Fair enough. Right, catch you boys later. Have a good one. Remember, Jay, I think pit at the minute the window opens.
Yes, yeah, I'm doing a 50 litre then a 50 litre.
Yeah.
Well,
how did the tyres feel at the end of that?
Yeah, I had to run wide a couple of times to avoid people, so that's just put extra wear on them. But yeah, they felt okay. I mean, that was a 20-minute run, so I think one stopper may be okay.
Fair enough. No reason, dude. Best of luck.
Cool, cheers, mate.
Oh, fuck off. No. My God.
What?
Apparently Dean has sang happy birthday to his dog, and his missus put a video on it on Facebook. Yeah.
Beady-da-da, beady-da-da. Is there a car? Oh, for fuck's sake, John. Beady-da-da, beady-da-da.
line. Give it all you can.
5, 4. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport here for the qualifying session this evening. It is going to be a fascinating one. 15 minutes for these drivers to get their hands on the fastest lap possible. Now, as we are aware, Dean Wysocki has a qualifying ban. He is currently still stationary. Naval Gomez has a qualifying ban. He's just been dropped, but hasn't yet moved. That's great to see. The Jackal is also in, so we should be up to 29 drivers if Senna does get in. And the other driver on a qualifying ban was Mirko Ricci, because he failed to serve it last week. He is also stationary, so that is great to see. But Dan, it was a fantastic race one. It is Dennis Hansen who is currently out there, the first man on the circuit. It's going to be a fascinating race too as well.
It is indeed, and it's not just going to be a fascinating race too, it's going to be a fascinating qualifying. Who's actually going to get a lap on the board, and if it's really going to be their actual best. You know, it's the weather here is really pushing the cars to the limit, and yeah, we'll just have to see how these guys get on.
It is going to be interesting indeed, and like you say, see how they get on. That is actually Tim Ventic's first ever win at SimPlay Motorsport, so I apologise thinking he had one in F1. He does have, that is his first ever win, so congratulations to Tim on that race win. He joins Nikita, Clouden, Smith, Linda, John Gooday, Graham, but that is Graham from Pro last season, who had a race win, Jay Winter, Fat Bloke, Storenson, Mutz Nort, Sven, Zonar, Louis Allen, Tech Leader, Sharkbait, Mordecai, Ben Bath, X-Fate, Nexus, Art, Gavlar, JM Grill, Forzy. There's a blast from the past. John Boy, Nick Lavilla, Laney, more blasts from the past. Smithy, Cam, Alfie, Daniel, Francis, Aidan Bennett, all on one win. But it is all about that crucial qualifying lap time now, and who will be able to get it and who will be able to get themselves their first pole position or another pole position to their name. For Max Mulder, he can go on to 19 pole positions, put himself ahead of me on that pole position train. He did take his 90th race start. It didn't go the way he wanted. He'll then be on his 91st in this one. But already Dennis Hansen going wide at the final corner. And Dan, this is something that we're just going to see in this session. Lap times invalidated, and who will do what?
It is indeed, and yeah, it's always what we're going to be watching for. And Dizzle is right on the back wing of Dennis at the minute, and it's all about trying to get that clean lap. And Dennis and Dizzle will already invalidate their lap times. And I believe Dizzle has, yes, they both have. So in that group already, it's going to be Robert Smith, who's the next car that's actually on a lap time. Well, the cars around him are all gone blue. Everyone's blue at the minute, I believe. No one's actually started the clean lap.
Something we noticed on one of the latest updates, Dan, is, and we noticed this at the Red Bull Ring when you brought us the FBR versus SimPlay Motorsport race, was if you cut the last corner or run wide on the last corner, it will invalidate your next lap as well. So this is something new from the latest update, that in qualifying you'll have both lap times invalidated. So this is probably why everybody's so blue, is that their lap time is invalid. Dizzle now goes through. Oh, that's a spin, and Robert Smith, yeah, he's caught Dennis as he's had a spin. Now the question, Dizzle is on an invalid lap, which means Robert Smith, who's just been involved in that incident, is on a flying lap. So it's not going to be the best, but yeah, he is the only one on a flying lap as well. It's absolutely bonkers. The 847, just looking who that is, that's just gone light blue as well. So everybody light blue. It is only Robert Smith who is out there on a flyer. Darren Bell in the pits, Dean Wysocki in the pits, Michael in the pits, Mirko Ricci in the pits. Now I'm noticing that Naval Gomez is on the track when he shouldn't be.
Gomez needs to return back to pits, as I believe he is slowing down. No, he's nailing it, and he shouldn't really be on track, but well, obviously he'll get a much harsher penalty if he completes the lap time, so he needs to return to pit.
He does indeed.
There's a pole out currently, and he stopped. Gomez has stopped and he's pulled to one side, and I think he will be returning back to the pit lane. Yes, he has. So Gomez has returned back to the pits.
Oh, there we go. Must have realised, someone must have told him, or unless he's listening to the stream. So that's great to see that he has returned back to the pit lane then. Here we go, though. Tucker, Robert Smith and Sam putting in the fastest early laps, and now everybody can start to come through, but it is going to be that 75 of Dizzle who will set a lap time. And in fact, other drivers are now pumping in lap times, even though their dots was blue. So this is now confusing. So let's go down to the 204. That is Justin Winter to the line. Does he put a lap time in? He does. So I'm not sure why it's coming up like blue. I'm not sure what it's telling us here. The next one will be John Gooday, who doesn't put a lap time on the board. Yeah, very weird, very strange. So a few of the drivers have been on invalid lap times according to the screen we have in front of us. And we'll see what they can do. But it is Tim Venting, Dan, your race 1 winner, who's currently out there on pole position, 2 tenths quicker than Justin Winter.
It is indeed, and the Jackal just crossed the line and set a lap time. He goes P6. I've just realised and forgot that I can actually go on board with drivers and see whether or not if they're up or down. Currently, Max Mulder is on a lap time at the minute. He's done a 2-minute 12.2, which is invalid, and he's currently up on that lap time at the minute. Who is into the final sector now? It is Bruno, who is currently on an invalid lap time.
There we go then. Just want to point out that was Ferrari's 19th race win. It was also Ferrari's, as I'm trying to find Dizzle, who will be the first man on all that. We'll stick with Dizzle for a minute. It was also Ferrari's 84th podium. Nissan got its 5th podium. And who was 3rd place? It was Richie Michel. So yeah, so the Ferrari got 84 podiums. The Nissan on its 5th podium here then. Nissan is also now 4 race starts away from its 50th race start. So great to have the Nissan back on the grid, and it's going to be an interesting one to see. But if BMW take pole here, they will be closer to 50. But don't forget, when Dizzle looked like he had pole last week, Max Mulder come and ruin the party. So what will happen today? That is going to be the biggest question. Dizzle does move into P3. Then it is Sam. We're going to catch up with car number 68. That is Esteban Burra-Bex. Justin Winter stays 2nd place. Max Mulder now goes into 3rd. So a good lap time from him.
Richie Michel currently up on his best. He's currently a 2nd up and looking to improve on P6. He's getting a little bit of a tow from the car in front of Paul Williams, who I believe is also on a lap time, and he comes to the line. He goes 9th with Richie Michel. Not improving on 6th, stays 6th.
Justin Winter improved on his time though, stays 2nd place. A few more cars coming to the line. Car 31. That is the Cranky Duckhead down the order then. What is he going to put a lap time of? Dean Wysocki will be going from 28th on the grid, so Dean will be going from last. That's not the worst place to be in for Dean in this qualifying session, as Cranky Duckhead moves up to 14th place on the list. Next car on a valid lap is the 999. That then is the Jackal. Comes to the line, goes up to P10. Before then, Bjarke Lund will take to his lap.
Yeah, and he's currently up on his lap time as well. He's currently 4 tenths going into the final corner. That'll give him a 2-minute 10, but he's going to try and make sure he keeps it all together as he exits the final corner towards the line. Now he improves and goes up into 8th place with that improvement. Next up on a valid lap will be...
Well, it was Micro J's, who's just gone P14 overall, and then, like you say, Dizzle, the next one on a valid lap. But you look at that track map, and he's got a bit of traffic in front of him on invalid lap times.
He has indeed, but he is still currently up. He is around 2 tenths up on his best at the minute, but he's coming through the tricky final sector into the Istanbul section, past the massive tower, and into the final few corners now. He just needs to nail these few corners. He's still up. He's found time in the penultimate. Can he keep it up going into the final corner? 3 tenths up at the minute. Now turning into 4 tenths. He's found some time. He's currently 2:09.2. This is going to give him a lap time of a 2:08.9, but doesn't improve position.
No, here comes Sam to the line next. He's down in 16th place. Goes all the way up into P8. He's had a massive improvement there. Before the car just ahead of 68. That is Burra-Bex, who's just in front of him. Not quite sure who it is. So we'll go on board the 93 of Richie Michel, who is the next car. We'll see if there's any change across the line.
2 tenths
believe it was Brian Craig. Here's Richie Michel, 2 tenths up. This could put him ahead of Burra-Bex. 5.5 minutes left in the session. Richie Michel now goes to 3 tenths. This will consolidate. Lost it all. So yeah, no improvement. Thank you, Dan. As car number 8, that is John Gooday. Currently P3. Heck of a lap from John Gooday at the minute.
Yeah, he's currently down on this lap time, so he'll go again. And then I'm going to look for the next car that
Kieran
is on a bad
Argent,
lap.
I do believe, is what it says here.
The 46 is the next one that's
Yeah.
valid for me.
Kieran Argent.
There he is, and he is currently 1.5 up on his best, and his best at the minute is a 2-minute 10.5. So at the minute, that would give him just into that 2-minute 9 era that he's looking to improve on. What is the current pole time at the minute? Is it
2:08.442?
Okay, so if Argent can tidy up this final sector, he could be near the front of the grid with this lap time, as he's finding a little bit more time in the middle final sector as well. 1.8 now up on his best, so he just needs to nail the final few corners now.
He does indeed. He's coming through the Istanbul section of the circuit now and comes onto the exit of that. What will he do as he comes around? Any improvement for Kieran Argent? We'll see. That's through the penultimate corner. Oh, and he's wide. Yeah, a huge mistake. We turn to the car 75. That is Dizzle, who needs that 4.5 tenths to improve himself. Will he be able to get there though? Go Max, says Tracy in the chat. Good evening to Tracy.
Oh, he's up. He's up. 6 tenths.
So 6 tenths coming into the final corner. He rounds it now. This could consolidate pole position with 3 minutes 55 left on the clock. There is Kieran Argent. Dizzle takes pole by. No, he doesn't. He loses a bit of time. 6 thousandths of a second from Tim Venting, who is still on pole position. Car 93 is next. That is Richie Michelle, who's 1.2 off the back. What a shame for Dizzle there. He lost it all down in the final 2 corners.
Yeah, he lost it all in the traction zone, and yeah, he went down the order. Well, not just by 1 place, but Richie Michelle, he was actually a second going into the final corner and lost half a second on the exit, just on his own. But Richie Michelle has now invalidated his lap time next in the final corner. So
it is Paul Williams that will be next on a valid lap. The one after that will be the 8.47 of Bruno Diaz. So Paul Williams 2 tenths up. This should put him up to 13th, 12th place. No improvement, stays 15th for him. Dennis Hansen is, I believe, the next car. No, it is the 8.47, sorry, of Bruno Diaz, yet to set a lap time. And if you look, Michael's not gone out.
Invalidate it.
There we go. So Michael's not gone out on track. He's yet to set a lap time. Neither's Bruno, neither's Dennis Hansen, Darren Bell. We know that Naval Gomez and Mirko Ricci and Dean Wysocki cannot set a lap. The next car, 46, Kieran Argent once again.
Yeah, he's not as much up as he was earlier on. He's currently 4 tenths down, 4 tenths up on his best. But that's it. He's looking to try and improve in the middle sector, but he has got Dizzle behind him.
So he's not going to want to make any mistakes here, because he's going to want to nail his lap. Dizzle will want that 6 thousandths of a second that he needs. Not seeing any improvements at the minute. It's 3 tenths of a second separating the top 5. And so far, so good. If you are Tim Venting, a race win and potentially a pole position to your name. Here's where Argent lost it all last time around, though. He comes through the Istanbul section down towards the penultimate corner. Just got to get this one nailed. He does.
7 tenths.
And he's got 7 tenths to his name at the minute. This could really improve it towards the end of this lap. Loses a tenth through the final corner. Does he pick anything else up? Towards the line comes Kieran Argent. Goes up to P11 and P10 from P11, and that is it. Dizzle, no improvement for him. Their next car on a valid lap is the 666 of Dennis Hansen, who is yet to set a lap time.
He's down currently on his best, which would have been a 2:11.5 if it was valid. So it's not going to be an outstanding lap after the man who took the sprint win last time out at Brands Hatch. He looks like he's struggling here at Kota.
No, he didn't. Sutty won the race, if you remember.
No, he didn't. He took second, didn't he?
He did.
After into the final few sectors he comes. I said 1.7 off his best, which was an 11.5. So this ain't going to be a great lap time from Dennis here.
No, but as long as it's valid, it's on the board. It'll put him ahead of Bruno Diaz, and that is it at the moment. Coming into the final section, car 53. That is DJ Phil. Next car on a valid lap time, and it's a long lap here to get wrong. He will get one more run, and he goes P16. So it's not a great lap, but it's a lap. That's the bonus. Michael will not set a qualifying time. So Darren Bell and Bruno Diaz, the only 2 drivers out there on the track to set one, provided they're on a valid lap and can get to the end. DJ Phil, what is he doing at the moment? He's coming to the final corner now.
I'm not sure what DJ Phil is doing, because I'm currently on board with Bruno.
So Dan's keeping an eye on Bruno. DJ Phil stays P18. The 847 of Bruno is next. Dan, what's he doing?
His best, which wasn't valid, was a 2:11.8. This one is still valid, but he's 2.4 off it. And it's just getting a lap time on the board here, as he will not be able to complete another lap time. So this is it. It's this or nothing, and towards the line he comes, and it's going to be a 2:12.2, so it gets him into the top 20.
It's good enough for P18 at the moment. Here comes Dizzle to the line.
He's
this
down.
Is all tight for Dizzle. Can he find time in the final corner? No, he bails on his lap. The 1:17 of Robert Smith now. He will be next to the line. 1.2 currently off that pole time. What is he up though, Dan? That's the question.
4 tenths.
So 4 tenths at the moment. He's going to come to line. This could put him in the top 6 before the others finish. No, only go 7th for Robert Smith. Car 18 is next to the line. That is Diego Flores at the moment, who is 4.8 off the
1
pole.
second up.
1 second up. Goes P19, demotes a few drivers down the order. Car 64, that is Darren Bell. He will get a lap time on the board. Goes 23rd. Car 68, I believe that is.
No.
That is Borough Bex. No improvement for him. We then go to the 96 of Sam. Can he find 1.6 seconds?
He can find 8 tenths, which will put him up a decent position, but if he needs to sort out the final few corners here, this is where you can gain all that time, and he's now 9 tenths up. He just needs to nail the final corner. Now into the final corner he comes. It goes from 9 tenths to a second. Good exit. He's within a second of his best. This will put him in 6th.
So this could put him up inside that top 6. Here comes Sam. It does put him inside that top 6, and we just await for car 53 of DJ Phil. Last man on a lap. What will he be able to do in this one? Darren Bell, and not the qualifying for him, down in 23rd place. The cranky duckhead struggling in the Honda, down in 22nd. Macro J's is 21st. DJ Phil down by 2 seconds. But is there a moment to this lap where he might just find it all and improve it at the final corner? I'm arguably going to say not. And DJ Phil comes to the line. Does he improve on 20th place? No, he does not. So no improvement there. He gets out-qualified by his teammate, who stays 19th place. But it is Tim Ventink, a win and a pole to his name at the moment. Great start to his evening. John Gooday, P4. Brilliant for him. Justin Winter, P3. That is great for the Greasy Bandit team in this race. And Dizzle just cannot seem to get pole down. He always gets close, but cannot seem to take it.
Yeah, but he always seems to get the race wins, and that's where more points is awarded. So what would you rather have, more poles or more wins? That's the question, you know.
No, 100%.
So I mean, if it was me, I would definitely want the more wins than the poles.
Yep.
But
and the most important thing as well is he's out qualified Max Mulder, and there's a couple of cars between the two of them.
He has indeed, but he has got Max Mulder's teammate in front of him.
Yeah.
So, you know, as long as he gets the jump on him at the start, you know, he could be able to pull away and make some decent gain. Who knows? But anything can happen. Or Tim might be purely focusing on himself and not wanting to help out his teammate. But who knows?
Yeah, who knows? In this one, then, as we're just currently updating the pages for who got pole position and who's taken what position, and I can't see Hansen. He's there. He's in 16th place. And then it is just Lund. Where did Lund qualify? I didn't see him in the session. He's 12th. In this qualifying session, so row 1 is Tim Ventink from Dizzle, Justin Winter from John Gooday, Max Mulder from Sam, Borough-Bex from Robert Smith with Richie Michelle, Brian Craig, Kieran Argent from Jacques Lund, Dean from the Jekyll, Paul Williams, Dennis Hansen, Mark Tucker, Bruno Diaz, Diego Flores, DJ Phil Green, Micro J's from Cranky Duckhead, Darren Bell from John Andrews, Mirko Ritchie from Michael, and on the back row, Naval Gomez from Dean Wasocki. Who's your money on, Dan, for this one?
I'm going to stick with Tim. I think Tim's got it hooked around here, and that Ferrari looking very strong around here. Yeah,
hard to look past him. Just to be different, then I'm going Dizzle. To be different.
I'm going to be different, as I am now currently doing a poll for that.
Brilliant. And we can tell you that this is now Ferrari's 19th podium. It still is ginetta
pole.
In terms, 19th pole position. It is behind the Ginetta in terms of pole positions.
Max Mulder hasn't readied up.
Oh dear! His night has gone from bad to worse.
that's the curse of championship leader.
Yeah, indeed it is. And yeah, not readied up. That is gonna hurt him, you feel, in this race. All right, potentially looking at maybe this being his drop score round, but to have a good one and to stay out of trouble, he's now got to come from by the back of the pack.
Although, yeah, you're talking about drop scores, but you don't want to keep doing this too many times. You can't rely on a drop score all the time. You've still got to do your best, and arguably sometimes scoring too well can also hurt you as well as Dan.
Let's not forget though, he's got to come through the field. So if he gets caught up in dramas and incidents that maybe are his fault, that's penalty points and against his name to give him bans that you just wouldn't have had possibly at the front of the pack.
Yeah, definitely, and he's going to end up in fights and scraps that he probably doesn't want to be in. So this is going to be an interesting race, and if Max can work it out, then it's going to be the race of his career.
Indeed it is.
As there's currently a poll gone up on who you think is going to win this one, and while we're at it as well, when we're on the chat of engaging with the fans, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as well, and hit the bell to be notified so you do not miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. If you do want to be a part of the action, then head over to Discord and SimGrid and get yourself signed up. Do your hot stints so that you're able to put you in the correct category, and do also look into the description and also give our sponsors Audio Sport and Design Manchester a follow as well on all their social media. One other thing to mention as well is coming up very, very soon is the next endurance race as well, and I'll let Matt describe that one in a few moments time. But also, while you're there as well and you are looking at the events, at the halfway stage of the season, we will be introducing the GT4s for the last 6 races of the season, and they will be 2 sprint races. That is it, pure flat out racing, but we will have a ballast system, a success ballast from the second round onwards, so that should be interesting as well. So if you want to be a part of the GT4s, a fantastic championship to get yourself learning and adapting to racing in close combat. They are brilliant cars, they are good fun, and I highly recommend anyone and everyone to improve their racing to sign up to the GT4s, because it's going to be awesome. Meanwhile, Matthew is going to go through the Endurance Championship.
Indeed, Laguna Seca for the GT4s, 16th of July it is for the second half of the season, as Dan said, but we head 2 weeks on Saturday to Imola, the 13th of July, so just before GT4s we head to the Imola for the 3-hour race, where the pro drivers, the faster driver, will start in that one for our second round of the Endurance Championship season. It was a fantastic mixed race at Silverstone with the weather. Looking for more of the same, 13th of July. If you want to get involved, as Dan said, join the Discord, hit the sign-ups and do the hot stints, or follow us on SimGrid and just give it a read to make sure you know what you have to do before joining us. But Dan's going for Tim, I'm going for Dizzle. They are around the final corner now. It's about to be the start of round 8 of the season. Not quite halfway yet, but we are nearly there. 4 races from the halfway mark, and it is going to be Tim from Dizzle on the front row of this grid. Who will take the race win? We're about to find out in 1 hour's time as we go green here at Coachman. It's a drive-through penalty for Tim Venting. Straight out the gate, Tim Venting with a drive-through penalty to his name, and he's already being attacked by Justin Winter up towards turn 1. Winter's got alongside Dizzle, and round goes John Gooday and I believe Borough Bex. So chaos in the background already with drivers spinning around, but it is Tim Venting, drive-through to his name, in the lead of this race. What a shame for him. Justin Winter though, Dan, got the jump over Dizzle straight away. That is fantastic. John Gooday was 4th down the order already.
Everyone else has actually managed to get through the pack. It was Gomez who did have a moment and went off. Max Mulder is now into the race, and well, he's now exiting the pit lane now. It was actually Paul Williams who had the moment, but Justin Winter right on the rear wing of the Ferrari, and he really doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to push the Ferrari too much, but obviously he wanted to get the jump past the Ferrari, so the Ferrari can hold the BMW up at Dizzle, and Tim's gone wide. Tim is going to allow the Porsche to get better traction, but the Porsche much slower in a straight line.
The Porsche much slower in a straight line, but he'll have that slipstream from the Ferrari down this back straight towards the bottom hairpin. Justin Winter staying right in that tow. Look out for Dizzle, who's charging on the pair of them as well. Justin Winter pulls out now, looks up the inside. Does he think about it under braking? No, he does not. And this could be hurting Justin Winter's tyres already early on in this race as they're coming through to the Hockenheim section. Robert Smith is P4 from the Jackal up to 5th place. Then it is B. Craig, John Gooday slipped back to 7th. Richie, Michelle, Kieran Argent, S. Swemborough, Beck, Sam, Dennis Hansen, Mark Tucker, DJ Phil, Dean, Jacques Lund, Diego Flores, John Andrews, Cranky Duckhead, Michael, then Micro Jays. Having a scrap with John Andrews. John Andrews just forcing Micro Jays a little wide there. Then after Jays, it's Michael. Sorry, so Michael's been overtaken by him. Then it's Mirko, Richie, Dean Wasocki, Darren Bell, P. Williams, Bruno Diaz, and Gomez has tumbled down the order. But Dan already cracking start to this race. Tim Venting's in. Justin Winter will lead in the Porsche.
Oh, and he's hit the wall. Tim Venting coming into the pits way too fast and has hit the wall. And I've cursed him. Yeah, that's what's happened there.
I think you have.
Now Justin Winter leaves, but Dizzle was right behind him, and that is the problem that Justin Winter had. He was stuck behind the Ferrari, and now the BMW has warmed its tyres up. It's got comfortable, and it's now on the attack with the other BMW, and Robert Smith not too far behind.
As all drivers having a look into Turn 1 on these opening few laps, just having a bit of a look here and there as we tumble down the orders. You can see everybody's having a look. Michael's now looking up the inside of Mirko, Richie with Micro Jays watching on, trying to tuck underneath. The pair of them maybe not going to happen from that far back. And the drive-through has been completed, but I'm just looking. Oh no! Bruno Diaz straight into the side of Tim Venting. I'm not sure what happened there. Tim was coming out the pit lane, and BSP Racing was on top in race 1, was on top in qualifying, and they're 2 of the last 3 drivers in this race at the moment. It has gone horribly wrong for the team. And Dan, just going back to the race leaders, this will be hurting Dizzle's tyres in that dirty air of Justin Winter.
It will be indeed. I'm just trying to go on board with Tim just to find out exactly what actually happened there. There we go. I'm on board with him now, and I will keep you up to date what actually happened to Tim.
So there we go. I believe, where's Darren Bell? He's actually had a mistake, because I was watching Micro Jays thinking they was close with Michael and Mirko, Richie and Darren Bell, but Darren Bell's dropped way back. Micro Jays has dropped behind Naval Gomez. He's only just in front of Dean Wasocki, who's got Paul Williams with him. Bruno Diaz then has got Max Mulder, who he's fighting with, and Tim's now down to last place, and Max Mulder now scrapping with Bruno Diaz for the last couple of places on the track. But Justin Winter so far, Dan, doing what he needs to do, and he's just pulling away ever so slightly, just open that gap up a couple of tenths.
He has indeed, and the incident between Tim and Bruno, as Tim was coming back onto circuit, Bruno was on the outside, tried to brake late, they hit door to door and both spun on their own. But Justin Winter doing everything that he needs to do at the minute to pull away from Dizzle, but Dizzle was giving him some hard time. Meanwhile, the Jackal, fastest lap of the race, and he's now starting to pressurise the BMW drivers. And if you're a BMW man and you're going into Pro tomorrow night, you're looking at these 3 thinking, the BMW looks quite handy around here.
Doesn't look too bad at the moment in the Pro-Am boys' hands, does it? B. Craig not close enough. John Gooday's on a recovery drive. Then it's Richie, Michelle, Kieran Argent, Burra Beck, Sam all in close comfort with Dennis Hansen and Mark Tucker. Bit of breathing spat, then back to DJ Phil, who's got a gaggle of cars right up DJ Phil's rear, and that is Dean, Diego Flores and Jacques Lund, who has just given that place to Diego Flores there. Looks like he ran a little wide out of turn 1. DJ Phil definitely back on the pad. You can see the twitchiness of that Lamborghini on the steering input. So DJ Phil looks like he's definitely given up on the steering wheel here, has got a few cars behind him. Dean at the moment has got Diego Flores. Is he going around the outside? No, he had a look and thought better of it for the time being. Also behind Jacques Lund is Cranky Duckhead and Michael gaining on them. Michael's coming through the field after he didn't.
The wrong way.
Right, so Cranky Duckhead isn't there, but Michael's coming through the field after a non-qualifying for him. It is Mirko, Richie and Naval Gomez following through.
It is indeed, as the Jackal is now slowly starting to creep onto Robert Smith, but Dizzle is closer to Justin Winter once again, and Dizzle having a strong race here, but Justin Winter, probably the Porsche, not losing too much on the straights as there's so many corners around here. He's able to counteract it with the great traction and mechanical grip that the Porsche has, especially in this sector now, as Dizzle is though sticking with him, but the BMW can't turn as well as the Porsche does.
Yeah, and you have to feel that while that BMW is struggling to turn as good as the Porsche at the moment, he's doing well to keep with Justin Winter, but hurting his tyres every step of the way. The pit window, don't forget, opens 37.5 minutes into this race, so it's still got at least another 15 minutes before the pit window opens, so a long way to go. Robert Smith and the Jackal as Justin Winter weaving down the straight here. Now, more than one move. Was it defensively? No, it was technically weaving. I'm not a fan of the weaving strategy, but Justin Winter clearly feels that he's deployed it and needed to deploy it there. Just going to drop back to Richie Michelle. He's now on the back of Brian Craig. He's got Argent within a second of him. Drive-through penalty for car 42, speeding in the pit lane. That is Tim Venting once again.
When it rains, it pours, and an amazing race one, but a terrible race two. That's going to be a race that he'll want to forget, as Dizzle and Justin Winter. I don't mind the weaving. It's breaking the toe, and it's giving, especially in the Porsche. I mean, the Dizzle then ain't able to use the advantage of the BMW straight line advantage, and the Porsche survives a little bit longer. But the stupid thing that Justin Winter probably doesn't realise is every time he manoeuvres like that, he's damaging his tyres, and once again he's looking to try and break the toe, and Dizzle is trying to stick with him.
Argent looking to the outside of Richie Michelle, trying to get the cut back at the hairpin, and you're right, the weaving, it was acceptable there. Had Dizzle been any closer, and then you're starting to question it a little bit. Argent using that horsepower of the Ford Mustang, it's straight line speed. Michelle already covers that inside line. Kieran Argent is going to look to the outside here, coming down into the hairpin at the bottom of the back straight. Can he go right around the outside? He can. Swoops round, runs wide, loses traction, cannot get the power out of the corner, so that puts to bed that. Sam trying to gain on the back of Borough Becks as well, who's on the back of this train. Down the order a little bit, we've got DJ Phil, who's been passed by Jacques Lund and by Michael, so he's still got a gaggle of cars on the back of him. That is Gomez, Mirko Ricci, Diego Flores, and it is Micro J's a bit further back with Dean Wysocki sticking with him. Then it's Paul Williams still on the back of Dean Wysocki. Cranky Duckhead not near these, neither is Darren Bell. He's got a quick Max Mulder hunting him down before John Andrews, Bruno Diaz and Tim Venting, who's repaired damage but still has a drive-through penalty to his name, but the lead is down 0.3 of a second.
It is indeed, and Robert Smith now this time taking the fastest lap away from the Jackal, and the leaders are still close to one another. Dizzle has moments where he catches the back of the Porsche, and then the Porsche extends its gap, and you can see Justin Winter is just squirming all over the place. The rear end of that Porsche is not happy, and not doing his tyres any good whatsoever, and as they go through this far section, this will be quite balanced for these two. The cars are well evenly balanced in high speed, but it's the traction zones you'll find the Porsche will gain the advantage, and a straight line is where the BMW should be stronger. The BMW a lot more stable than the Porsche right now.
It is at the moment. Justin Winter loosey-goosey through the S as he goes down towards the first of the hairpins, what is, I think, meant to be like the hairpin at China after the very long back straight down there where you pretty much come back on yourself. Through they go though, and Justin Winter, look, getting very close, and now gets that traction zone as Dan was just talking about, and look, just stretches that gap open just a little bit, as you'll see from the camera shot here. Just has a bit of a car length between the two of them now over what it was. Down the back straight they come. Just going to drop back down to Richie Michelle once again. He's still got, in fact no, he's on the back of B. Craig. There's a spinner in the background, I believe that is Hansen, and Richie Michelle's on the back of B. Craig. Kieran Argent's now all of a sudden got Borough Becks on the back of him, so we'll watch these two fights play out at the moment. Is Richie Michelle going to look for the move? He is. He's going to dive up the inside, round the hairpin at the bottom corner, goes very, very wide. And Brian Craig, is he going to take that back? Yes, just hanging it around the outside. As Argent's under pressure from Borough Becks, who taps the rear of Argent, and Argent manages to hang on to it.
He does indeed, but he's got dirt on his tyres, they've overheated, and now Sam works his way through as well. So S2M Borough Becks making contact to the rear of the Mustang, and once again Dizzle is right on the rear wing of Justin Winter once again. But this again is where the Porsche gains the advantage. Dizzle needs to try something new and smart here, because at the minute Justin Winter has an answer for everything, and once again he's trying to break that toe from the BMW.
And you just see there Dizzle giving him a flash of the lights and not playing ball with the weaving here. Justin Winter's going to be hurting his tyres more than Dizzle will be, and you really feel that for Dizzle here, He's probably going to be getting frustrated at the weaving tactics from the Porsche. Dennis has had another spin. That could be overheated tyres at the moment, as he's lost it out the penultimate corner, so he might have to just drive around, let them tyres cool down a little bit. I believe he's come out behind Naval Gomez. He has his. Michael going side by side with Ferrari Dean. Down the start finish, straight up towards turn 1. He started down the back of the pack. For some reason didn't qualify. He's going to look up the inside into turn 1. Dean's going to try and hang it around the outside. He'll have the inside for turn 2, but I believe that Nissan GTR, good straight line speed in both cars here as well. Michael round the outside of 2, has the inside for 3, moved on. Michael dancing in that Nissan.
Oh, Dizzle had a look for the lead and went down the inside at the hairpin of Justin Winter. Had a sniff opportunity, and this is the closest he's been out of the hairpin. Obviously, because of his slight little dive, Justin Winter had a terrible exit, and obviously that's where the Porsche gains the advantage. And here comes Dizzle on the attack towards the left-hander. Is he going to get the job done on the brakes? He comes towards the left-hander, and he does, but Justin Winter's going to try and fight it out on the Porsche, but the BMW driver looks like he's got the edge.
He does look like he's got the edge, and that is the move done for Dizzle. Then Justin Winter just rolling the dice a little bit, and he's just cost himself. Maybe he's going to try and look around the outside then here of Dizzle coming round through towards the Istanbul section of the circuit. 10 minutes until that pit window opens, so still a long time for these drivers in the race. The sun is setting, the air temperature is 35 degrees, the track temperature is 35 degrees. It is a hot one here. The track just cooling though after that qualifying session, just cooling a tad as the race, the sun will set, and yeah, it's going to be an interesting one here, and we no longer have that light issue. So if it does get to a point where the lights need to be on, we're not going to have that issue because ACC and Kunos fixed the glitch. So drivers will be able to see each other's lights. Going back down the order, though, Brian Craig still has got Richie Michelle right up the rear end of him before what doesn't
Dean
appear to be
DJ Phil side by side.
Borough Beck. Sorry, let's go down to DJ Phil and Dean. Sorry, Dan.
There's a little train forming behind DJ Phil. We've got Dean Wasocki, Micro J's, and Paul Williams. 2 BMWs and 2 Lamborghinis, and DJ Phil holding up Dean Wasocki. Dean's going to try and go around the outside of the penultimate corner. DJ Phil pushes him out wide, and Dean has to try and find another way through as Micro J's is looking. Oof. But as Dean gets a better exit on DJ Phil, and we're out dragging him down the straight. Lamborghini and BMW, I reckon, are fairly level in straight line as the Lamborghini pulls away, and Paul Williams is too busy. Now got Micro J's for company as DJ Phil's going to try and hang on the outside. Dean's going to look, but not quite close enough, and they all stay relatively in the same position, but Paul Williams attacking the other BMW, and these 4 going at it like mad.
Going at it like mad, and Dean and DJ Phil, some side-by-side action there. That was quality to watch from both of these drivers. DJ Phil, though, now this is where Dean on the wheel should be a bit more capable than DJ Phil on the pad, who looks twitchy through the Maggots Beckett section. Dean able to just come with him. You see how dark it's starting to get already. We're only 15 minutes into this race, with it's only 7:15, but that sunset really providing to be the difference here. Oh, Dean's had a moment!
Yeah,
what a shame.
A wobble there, but Micro J's goes around the outside, and I think Dean Wasocki's going to try and keep his nose in front, but he's going to have to fall into place as Pete Williams now on the back of him.
And Dean's just going to have to go again and get his head down. Good little strap between
Dizzle
them.
and Justin Winters had a moment.
So Dizzle and Justin Winters had a moment. Dizzle's down the order, Justin Winters. So Robert Smith leads from the Jackal, from John Gooday. Then it's the 204 of Justin Winter. And Dizzle is down behind Richie Michelle, so not sure what has happened there. Danny's on it. And let's go back down to the battle of Diego Flores, Mirko Richie. That one's not really close enough. Oh, and that is Micro J's and Paul Williams who are around, while Dean is carrying on his way. He's just gone up the inside of Bjark Lund. Where's DJ Phil? Just in front, so I'm not sure what's happened to them four.
So what has happened to Dizzle and... So as they came into the stadium section, Dizzle was leading, and the Porsche of Justin Winter got really close, tapped the rear end of the BMW. He did try and wait, but couldn't bother to wait any longer, and Dizzle has dropped down the order. So contact was made.
Interesting then. Who at fault would you say, or 50-50?
Porsche at fault, Justin Winter.
There we go. Borough Becks is into the pits. That is an early pit stop for Borough Becks. Looks to have a bit of rear end damage. I'm just going to see if the camera will pan around for us. No, it won't. It's very slow, but Burabek's into the pit, so Jays goes through, as does Paul Williams, as does the cranky Duckhead, as does Darren Bell.
Attacking.
Bruno Diaz will as well, but we're going to go and check on Dizzle then, who's attacking the back of Richie Michelle. Robert Smith then leads this race. It's a BM 1-2, and the Jackal, whose best result this season hasn't been massively great, if I remember, a 19th and a 17th as he can only do the second races. He's already running second place at the moment. John Gooday back on the podium after a podium last week as well. He's going great guns.
He is indeed, as Dizzle now looks to the outside of Richie Michelle, but can't seem to find a way through there, and as they all fold into position. But Robert Smith leading away from the Jackal, from John Gooday, who's actually catching the Jackal. So bit by bit, John Gooday is working his way up the order as Justin Winter is in fourth, but possibly a penalty hanging over his head, as Dizzle is probably won't be too happy about the contact, and right now Richie Michelle is holding him up, and Dizzle is losing time.
Dizzle just seems to attract a bit of contact here and there. We've seen drivers just nip at his rear in a few of the races. It's been that way since Snetterton. As through they all come now towards the final corner. Dizzle's going to have a look up the inside line then in towards the final corner. Nothing he can do there. Better traction than the Ferrari, you bet your bottom dollar he does. Now gets alongside just about. No, he doesn't. Michelle chops the nose off. That's a duffing chop if I've ever seen one, and comes back in front.
The Duffin Man.
The Duffin Man.
The Duffin Man.
You had to. You just had to, didn't you? How long have you been waiting to do that?
I was just waiting for a chance for you to say Duffin.
Dizzle then on the back of Richie Michelle still once again. Robert Smith has a 3-second lead. Naval Gomez is within 9/10 of Michael. Michael, by the way, qualified down in 25th, I do believe it was. He's now 11th. He is flying in this race at the moment as well. Down the order, Diego Flores trying to catch Mirko Ricci. We've got Jacques Lund on the back of Dean Wasocki. We've got Paul Williams trying to catch the cranky Duckhead as well. But yeah, with pit stops approaching in the next 4 to 5 minutes, you have to say the shock at the moment is that Max Mulder, really, I suppose, in today's races.
Yeah, Max has not really been on the ball this week and has made some silly errors and is... But to be fair, Dizzle hasn't had it as easy as he would have wanted either. He gave himself a drive through at the start of the sprint. He recovered himself into a decent position, but at the minute, again... somebody making contact with the rear of him and he's gone round. Yep. Sorry, these 5 AM starts with me are absolutely killing me.
I can imagine. It is going to be an interesting one to see though what tickets go in this one tonight. Obviously the stewards will try and get their job done. This is the fight we're watching. Brian Craig, they've got Sam now coming onto the back of him. Argent and Borough Bex are in the background, but I believe Borough Bex is a lap down on all these drivers. Now, has Borough Bex decided to go for a 2-stop strategy? Because I didn't see a lot of damage on his car.
I saw a bit of rear end damage, but I'm not sure, possibly. But why would you 2-stop? You could easily do a 1-stop, but Sutty laughs in the chat. But I don't see the point in doing a 2-stop. There's no real need for it. The tyres aren't going to die that much, and if they've done a lot of practice and they've burnt out some other tyres, you putting old sets on, so it's pointless to me. I don't think he is. I think he just had damage that was probably doing him no good.
Brian Craig then holding up Dizzle and Richie Michelle and Sam at the moment. This is allowing John Gooday to get away. He's not getting away rapidly, is John Gooday. Let's go back down to Mirko Ricci. He's got Diego Flores within 3/10 of the rear of him. Diego is actually going to have a look up the inside and manages to get the car stopped and turned in through the final corner. Very wide there for Diego Flores. That'll be a track limit warning as well. Down to Jacques Lund on Dean Wasocki. That gap is 0.7 of a second. So a few fights just happening. Dean's wide at the final corner. Bjork will not need a second invitation. Oh, they bump. They're both facing in the right way. And Dean's giving him a cheeky flash of the lights there. And Bjork Lund's got a bit of front end damage. I say a bit, that's quite a lot. Dean to the outside line. Bjork missed his brakes. That's meant Dean's pretty much had to stop stationary. But back to this fight of Brian Craig, Richie Michelle, Dizzle and Sam. And they've got Kieran Argent 4.3 behind. He's closing the gap.
More importantly, John Gouday's brought the gap down to the Jackal. He's within half a second of him as well, but Brian Craig is under pressure from Richie Michelle, who's going to send it into the left-hander, and if he gets it pulled up and stopped, he will do, and Brian Craig loses position. Will Diesel be able to capitalise on that move, as Richie Michelle actually runs wide onto the curb, and Brian Craig's going to come back through, but Richie Michelle's going to have the inside for the next corner. Diesel's on the inside as well. He wants to have a sneaky look, and he makes contact with Brian Craig and spins him round, and Sam gets involved in the incident as well.
He does, and Diesel looks like he's going to let Brian Craig keep going on his way, and look at this, they're 3 wide. Sam up the inside coming through Istanbul, Diesel and Brian Craig. This is great racing through the Istanbul section of the circuit, and they all go into line. Look who's now on the back of them. It's still a 4-way fight. Kieran Argent's come to the party.
Yeah, he has indeed, and Brian Craig just struggling by the looks of things there, and he allows Diesel through. And now Argent's just going to attack Diesel straight away going into the final corner, and he gets the job done. Argent up a position and puts one on Diesel, so as Diesel gains a possession, he lost it instantly again. And the Mustang, look at it pull, look at it leave the BMW standing.
It is, it's still there though, is Diesel, and Diesel can just be a bit later on the brakes, get it stopped into turn 1. Kieran's giving it a wide berth, swings it round, and I believe he's gone a little too wide there, and that's going to allow Diesel back through. No, it's not, because Kieran Argent's still going to fight this one hard, side by side. Kieran's back through, and that is great racing from Argent. Multiple Constructors champion at SimPlay Motorsport is Kieran Argent, and it's great to see him back out on the circuit as the pit window now opens. And Dan, there is a gaggle of calls from DJ Phil down, who could have all pitted here, and Micro J's is pulling the trigger, as is Paul Williams straight away. That is not a bad strategy.
John Goudet done the switch and got past the Jackal in the hairpin. I thought he was a little bit too far back, but he has got the job done. So John Goudet up into second place, and he's been towing his teammate Justin Winter along as well. So Justin Winter will not be too far away onto the back of the Jackal.
Darren Bell into the pits as well. I wonder if we'll see John Andrews' cranky duckhead coming there or coming around the track by the 666. Who's the 666 car? That, I believe, was Mirko Ricci, who's had a spin.
Dennis.
It's now, I believe, Dean that's had a spin. It is indeed. And they'll tumble down the standings. Michael trying to gain on the back of Mark Tucker. That's 2.8. But like you say, the Jackal now under pressure from Justin Winter and John Goudet. John Goudet has got through. Justin Winter's the next man to try and get through. And Micro J's has done his pit stop. That's good. I think that's a good strategy from Micro J's there. Pit window opens, straight in, get that clear air. As Lee in the chat says, nice driving Argent. It really was. He put the move on Diesel, and it was great to see.
It is indeed. I'm now currently looking at the top four, sorry, and I'm wondering if John Goudet, now with a bit of clean air, can he do anything about Robert Smith? He seems to be quite consistent. Aston seems to be quite good on the tyres around here, and as he's trying to pull away from
Diesel's in.
the Jackal. Yeah, Diesel coming in, and he needs to clear the traffic. He needs to get out of that dirty air and try and do something with his race here now.
He does indeed. So Micro J's pulling the trigger. Paul Williams and Darren Bell followed in, as did John Andrews and Cranky Duckhead. Gomez is also going to come into the pits. What about Hansen, as we're just going to follow the drivers into pit lane? Hansen comes into the pits. Mirko Ricci's got a bit of front end damage. I assume he might choose to pit. No, he won't. Diego Flores doesn't either. Max Mulder's up to 16th place. He's getting on the back of these. He stays out on track. What about Dean and Dan? Let's just look at the sun a bit more as well, because it is really setting here now. The track temperature is still at 35 degrees, but drivers' visibility coming into these last braking zones is going to be hampered by that sun glaring through the windscreen.
Yeah, it is indeed, and the sun is going to be their main problem now. It's going to be especially going into the heavy braking zone after the back long straight. I know the sun sits just right in the eye view of the braking zone, so that's where everyone's going to start to struggle with braking. But other than that, the temperature will stay the same, so they'll know roughly, but that's the torture as well. The pain of the heat will not will end, and the drivers will have to struggle with that temperature.
Car 31, Cranky Duckhead, has only just come out of the pits. Tim Venting is not pitting yet either at the moment. This is on board the Jackal, who's still on the rear of John Goudet. He's actually dropped Justin Winter, so I don't know if Justin Winter's had a problem somewhere, Dan. He's 2 seconds off the back of them. And further down the pack, not really many battles to speak of at the moment. Lead pit runner is that of Diesel, you have to say, although Diesel still stationary, and he's been jumped by Naval Gomez and Dennis Hansen and potentially DJ Phil here. Micro J's not going to jump him, or is he? Because J's has come around to the penultimate corner and Diesel's still in the pits. He's not yet gone green.
He hasn't gone green yet, no, and I'm now looking in the chat to see if he said anything. He has gone green now. So
I think he's going to be jumped. He's definitely going to be jumped by Micro J's here. He goes a lap down on the top 4. And Micro J's is going to come through and take that position. Where is Dizzle? He's just off the limiter. Where's DJ Phil? Oh! Just as Justin Winter is coming to the apex of the corner, DJ Phil is there and parked on it pretty much. And, well, it's down to the drivers in the race to make sure they abide by the blue flags as they exit the pit lanes. DJ Phil, you feel kind of hampered Justin Winter a little bit there.
Yeah.
Just being
spun by Winter, and I had 1 minute and 20 seconds worth of damage. 1 minute 20.
Don't forget, though, he also tapped the back of, was it B. Craig? So that would have had a little bit of damage as well to the back of that.
Yes, and that as well. So the Jackal at the minute is sticking to John Goudet. John's not been able to pull away, but Robert Smith, in a world of his own, since the leaders have their coming together, and he's just been off on his own. No problem so far and pulling away. I've now cursed him, but the Jackal is right on the rear wing of the Aston Martin driver of John Goudet. Correct
me if I'm wrong, he won back at the Red Bull Ring in the sprint race, did Robert Smith. Took the first race win there, so it's great to see for him. Naval Gomez has got past Dennis Hansen. That puts the Ford Mustang driver up into 18th place and is the lead pit runner now. And fantastic to see Tim Venting still yet to pit. Borough Beck's still yet to pit. He's had a night to forget, as well as Borough Beck's. 0.8 of a second. Max Mulder on the back of Mirko Ritchie.
Looking for the move.
As we go to Justin Winter.
John Goudet just looks like he's holding up the Jackal ever so slightly, and that's allowing Justin Winter, his teammate, to get right onto the rear wing. And again, this is where it's Porsche power right through this sector and right onto the rear wing, and he's almost sideways. Oh my God, Justin Winter,
a huge slide
in the back of the Porsche.
How?
John Goudet's pitting.
How he kept hold of that, I don't know. While that's happened, Michael's got past Mark Tucker and Max Mulder did get past Mirko Ritchie, so John Goudet into the pits. Let's see if anybody else is pulling on this train reaction now of John Goudet. Bjork Lund has just left the pit lane, and at the moment everybody staying out for the time being.
They are indeed. Meanwhile, Dizzle is onto the back of Richie Michelle, a lap down obviously, but obviously he'll want to try and make as many positions as he possibly can. Dizzle passes Micro J's around the outside, and that is full position, and he moves himself up another place.
Yeah, B. Craig also into the pits. Very slowly on the pit entrance was Brian Craig there. So an interesting pit entry there for him. Max Mulder still going at the moment. Mirko Ritchie as well keeps on track. What about Diego Flores? He is also going to keep going. John Goudet has finished his stop, and John Goudet could come out in this little bit of traffic here. I think he's possibly gone a lap or two early, as Bruno Diaz is on the back of Dean Wasocki. We're waiting for other Dean who didn't pit, and then it's just these two, Barbara Becks and Tim Venting, left to pit. So will Dean and Bruno Diaz pit at the moment? Little battle here for 15th and 16th, and Dean Wasocki straight into the pits.
That's allowed Bruno through. What's making me very concerned at the minute is most of the Lamborghini cars are at the back of the pack. So that's making me nervous for tomorrow night. But the BMWs, though, looking very strong. The Ferrari's looking strong. And the shock one for me is the Porsche is looking very strong around here.
The Aston looks quite handy as well if Alex is racing, so, you know.
Yeah, the Mustang's quite strong as well by the looks of things. But the other shock is the McLaren is struggling by the looks of things.
Yeah.
I mean, Max Mulder has worked his way up, but the McLaren's not really as worked as well as I thought it would.
No, it hasn't. Ford's looked somewhat okay as well. Kieran Argent's got the best out of his Ford Mustang tonight, so we'll see what they can do. And it's great to see another car on the grid as Justin Winters looking to tuck up the inside. Oh, and he gets a huge slide again coming through Istanbul. He's just clipping that curb and he goes around the outside now. Does he hang on to that slide? He does. And the Jackal says, you know what? I'm going to pit. Possibly the right choice. Robert Smith also into the pit lane as Dean Wasocki, you see in front, is leaving the pit. So Winter stays out. Richie Michelle boxes. Here's got Dizzle just behind him who's a lap down. Kieran Argent, what is he going to do? Sam stays out. Kieran Argent is going to stay out. 6 minutes, 50 seconds left of the pit window. Michael's now up to 7th from the back of the grid. He's done really well at the moment to get up this far in this race. He stays out on track. And just a few drivers left to pit. John Goudet is ahead of Diaz on the circuit. So he is the lead pit runner at the moment. But You don't think he will be, because the gap that Robert Smith had was incredible. The Jackal, I don't think, is in his pit box here. That doesn't look quite right. Robert Smith has been dropped in his away. The Jackal is parked at a funny angle there. That can't be pitting him, surely.
It did. He's gone green. He has gone green.
Right.
So he's now leaving the pits. As John Goudet's in the penultimate corner, as Robert Smith is now exiting pit lane. So as it stands for him, and he carries on his merry way. As the Jackal, meanwhile, is coming up to the end of the pit lane, and John Goudet will retain Willie. He's going to be close to the Jackal. Jackal comes off the limiter now. And
Michael's got a drive-through for track limits. Sorry, apologies, I thought that was the Jackal then. It popped up just as the Jackal come off his limiter.
Jackal dropped behind John Goudet. John Goudet has retained that second place position, but he's actually a lot no, he's not.
He's gapped. He's gapped the Jackal by quite a bit, so that bodes well for Justin Winter.
The undercut seems to work.
So let's see what Justin Winter can do. I wonder if it just costs him a bit of time being in a funny position in the pits. Max Mulder and Bruno Diaz both pitted. Borough Becks has still got to pit. Tim Ventink is now in as well.
Clearly that obviously makes sense if the undercut is the stronger way, obviously due to the tyre wear, and Max Mulder now gets the stop and go for, I'm not sure why.
Speeding in the pit lane, I believe that was, yeah.
Speeding in the pit lane.
Yeah.
As Justin Winter comes into the pits and nearly hits the pit wall.
Did he come in a little too fast then, Dan? We'll keep an eye on that as he exits the pits. Bruno Diaz just exiting up the road. Sam comes into the pit lane as well. What about Kieran Argent? I think he's going to box. He comes in now. Yes, he does. Michael's got a drive-through, so he's got, I believe he has to serve the drive-through before. I think you do have the option to turn the penalty off, but he's got to pit, get round, pit again, because that pit window is closing soon. And into the pits he comes. Mark Tucker as well is going to box. So we're seeing all the drivers at the minute pit. And Robert Smith will be opening Mirko Ricci pits because he's catching him within a second. And he's already ahead of Diego Flores and Dean. He will not want John Goudet to get closer.
Yeah, but he's got a 12-second gap to John Goudet, so he can just take his time. And there we go. Ricci goes into the pits, and Robert Smith can carry on, keeping it smooth and consistent as he's been going on, and John Goudet has to now try and clear his old friend Dean, and does so. And as things resume, as Justin Winter has gone green, and now we've got a drive-through cleared for
that was
the
366.
Michael. He has cleared it. He now has to try and get round and back into the pits again, which he should have time to do so that's not a problem. But Justin Winter taking his time getting out of pit lane, as Robert Smith is already into the S's. John Goudet is up into turn 1, and the Jackal goes up to turn 1. So yeah, I think Justin Winter lost out there. So by the looks of things, the undercut is powerful around here.
Looks to be the case.
And obviously the other thing we forgot to mention, as we've been talking about strategies, who's changed tyres? Who's brave enough to stay on the original set and save those 5 seconds? Or will you lose those 5 seconds towards the end of the race? Who knows? But we'll find out possibly a little bit later, as Diego Flores and Michael sitting in second and third at the minute and still yet to make their pit stops.
They are indeed. Mike Mulder's got 2 more laps to serve his stop-go penalty. It's been a catastrophe night for him. Currently watching Dizzle on the back of Jacques Lund at the moment. This is the closest fight on track so far, and it's going to be an interesting one to see. I'm not sure where Paul Williams has gone. He just got ahead of Dean. I think we've lost 2 drivers in this session, and we've just lost another driver.
And we've got a lot of internet spikes at the minute as well. We've lost another one.
Yeah, we're down to 25 drivers. So we're back up to 26, it says now. But Paul Williams was one of them drivers. I saw him in between. Max Mulder disqualified. Track limits.
John Goudet's in the pits.
So why is John in the pits? Was he one of the drivers that lost connection? We know he struggled with connection in the past, Dan.
He has indeed, and he's been disconnected, I think.
Just looking in the Discord, nothing being said at the moment. Paul Williams is not there either, and I'm looking for who else might be missing from that list.
All calmed down again, but there's only 3 cars.
P. Williams has disconnected. He's just joined back, we're being told. Hypertech as well. and Diego Flores, yeah, you're right, is the other driver. And they've all now got a 2-minute wait. Oh, what a shame. Michael's now in the pits to do his pit stop just at the very end. So John Gooday was running in second place, and it has gone wrong because of an internet disconnection.
Oh no, it's all going wrong for certain drivers, and John Gooday losing out massively there as Dizzle and Max Mulder were struggling for points. He may have gained some points on them, and Diego Flores back into the pits. And the problem with Diego Flores is he's come back in and he hasn't done his pit stop, so he's going to gain a penalty as well.
Yeah, I think because of the disconnection, that one will be let off, and he will cross the line where he crosses the line. That is out of his control. So I believe that one will be let go. But Max Mulder, a double disqualification for track limits, and in both races, that is a no score. Now, drop score is obviously come into play for your lowest score of the season, but does that count for a double disqualification? I'm just wondering, Dan, because you know, difficult one.
Yeah, it will be his drop score. It's got to be, because it's, you know, he has turned up, he has participated, he did start. And yeah, it's just pushed the limits too far. And this was the thing that we were talking about with this track. The track limits are horrid around here, and he's just pushed the limits too far, too many times. There's Bruno's looking to make a move on DJ Phil. They can't do so as the pit window has now closed, and John Gooday is going to be screaming at his internet.
Yeah, he is going to be screaming at his internet. So Max Mulder technically gained 71 points in the drop scores here tonight, with this being his drop score round. Diego Flores still in the pits, as is Paul Williams. Where is John Gooday? Is he back out the pits? He is, but look, he's down in 24th position. He's behind everybody. That's promoted a lot of drivers up a couple of places. It's Robert Smith from the Jackal now. Justin Winter trying to hunt him down. Then it is Sam P4. Richie Michelle is 5th, with Kieran Argent running 6th place from Brian Craig. Mark Tucker, Naval Gomez, Mirko Ritchie from Michael, who's just had a drive-through penalty and then to pit himself. And really coming from the back of the pack. Where did Michael qualify? 26th, running P11, and he's on the back of a top 10 here with a podium in race 1 in the Nissan. Michael's had a cracking day and has to be one surely in the shout for driver of the day.
Yes, indeed. As I forgot about the poll, and majority of you reckon it was going to be another who was going to win this one, and Dizzle. So it was level 1 points on that one, and at the minute it will be another. At the minute it is Robert Smith looking very strong at the minute, but yeah, Michael looking very strong for a driver of the day, possibly.
Oh, Bjork Lund, big damage to the front of his car. Looks a little slow. Bruno Diaz has just been passed by DJ Phil, but Bjork Lund here has got Dean right on the back of him and has got some huge damage.
Nasty is right now. Michael is right onto the rear wing of the McLaren. And what would have happened if this Nissan would have qualified?
Yeah.
Where would he have actually finished? That was the question. Would he be possibly top 5?
Yeah, easily, if not pushing for that race win, because he had some good pace in race 1 and he's had good pace here as well. Michael getting closer to him. Just watching DJ Phil. Bjork Lund didn't pit and he has got some big damage on that course. That's going to be interesting one to see as we look further down the order. John Andrews still in the pits. Diego Flores, sorry, John Andrews back into the pits. John Gooday's back out on track. And will he get past Diego Flores? I believe so. Paul Williams as well back out on track. That is unlucky for these drivers here at the moment.
That's indeed. The bad luck of the internet. I mean, we had it last week at the Brands Hatch with myself and Clouden very much fighting one another in the internet department, and Clouden and I came together. His internet was severely worse than mine and had to retire in the end just due to the fact that it was really bad. But we're seeing this now where people just get straight up disconnected instead of having it's like lag issues. But Michael still on the rear end of M. Ritchie and can't find a way through at the minute, as Justin Winter is just on the back of the
Just
Jackal.
about to mention that one. Justin Winter's on the back of the Jackal. Jackal goes a little deep through turn 1, manages to keep it on the circuit at the moment though, and we will jump back into the Discord call for the comms box for some driver interviews at the end of this race for drivers from race 1 and race 2 on the podium. If they want to have a chat, we'll get them in there. But at the minute, so far so good.
I'll tell you who else who's had a very quiet race, but has gone their way and scored some decent points. Sam for Team FBR has just mind his own business, kept his nose clean, hasn't been raw out like fastest, but he has just minded his own business and is out on his way to score some decent points. I probably just guessed it seems to be the way that way at the minute. Whatever I say about somebody and it goes wrong.
I'm not sure what's happening with Bruno Diaz at the moment, but was just overtaken by DJ Phil 2 laps ago. He's now 7 seconds behind, and he's got Micro J's hunting him down. Has he pulled the strategy of not changing tyres? And if so, are them tyres dead? Because he's losing a lot of pace.
Damage as well.
He has got a lot of damage,
on the front and rear, and obviously with that damage, the car will be understeering, possibly oversteering as well, which will damage the tyres more. We're only now got down to 34 degrees instead of 35 degrees, so it's he's probably killed those tyres if he has kept them and not changed the damage, but that damage will not be helping him whatsoever.
And look at this. This is an Xbox driver with his lights on. We can actually see them, which means Night Race could make a return next season. It'd be fantastic. Keep your eyes out for Spa and Bathurst in the endurance race, because that will probably have the lights on as well with the length of them races going into the distances on that one. But at the minute, I tell you, it's benefited. And Tim Venting was nowhere in this race. He's now 23rd because of the disconnections.
Yeah, I mean, he still would have wanted a bit more than that, but it's still a couple more points.
Just to reiterate your thing about Sam, RB Racing in the chat, Sam went from 5th to 11th on lap 1 as well, and he's now back up to 4th. So just, adding to your compliments of how well he's done, didn't have the greatest of opening laps.
No, he didn't, but like I said, he's just worked his way slowly through the pack, and it's paid off. He's up into 4th, and I don't really see him threatening Justin at the minute unless something happens between him and Jackal, which he's already made contact with Dizzle once already. It might happen again, and that Porsche is looking leery at times, so Sam just has to keep going as he is. But right now it's all pretty stable at the minute. Dizzle is trying to catch Michael, but not really making any edgeways, and this is the point of the race where we will start to see tyres, if they've kept them on, start to struggle and come to an end.
We will indeed. Keep your eyes on them sector times. Richie Michelle will also be coming after Sam, and Argent will be coming after the pair of them. Argent, shout out to him. He's looked good in that Mustang tonight. He's battled for a podium race 1 and will come away with a pair of 6th places at the moment. It's really the first time we can say that the Mustangs looked a good car, because at Snetterton, at Brands and at Red Bull Ring it looked a bit average.
We've got some internet spikes again. Got some internet spikes, and they're up high.
Yeah, we've lost already a couple of drivers.
Have we lost the same drivers?
No, they're all at the bottom of the pack.
Tim Venting has gone fastest now.
I have just had a disconnection from the server myself. So
lovely.
Yeah, we're gonna come back in. So we do apologise for this. So clearly some server issues. Dizzle was disconnected according to the chat.
No! Robert Smith has been disconnected.
Oh, you're joking.
Robert Smith has been disconnected and Justin Winter takes the lead.
What about the Jackal?
Bruno's been disconnected. The Jackal's still leading. And, what on earth is going on?
So
Justin
there has
Winter
been
leads from the Jackal, from Sam, from Richie Michelle, Argent, Craig, and Richie, Lunda, Dean, and DJ Phil. Dizzle's been disconnected.
Yeah, Dean was socky as well.
There's a lot of cars that have been disconnected. Michael has been disconnected.
Oh, it's horrible. It's gone horribly wrong for a lot of these drivers. John Gooday's back in the pits. Clearly an internet problem here with 14 minutes to go. So it's about what drivers get back in the lobby the quickest, I assume. But drivers being disconnected, we're still 4 down. Dean Wasocki has also been disconnected. Jay's now back up into 12th place. Dean is all of a sudden P10. Robert Smith's back in, but he's down the order. Argent's now P5 and Sam P3. You have to feel for these drivers, Dan, who's just got all these disconnections. The server not doing what it needs to do, and obviously just a few problems on the G Portal side of things costing these drivers today.
They are indeed, and yeah, I think this is going to be a race a lot of drivers are not going to be happy about, and just yeah, one thing after another. I'm just looking in the Discord, and yeah, everyone's not happy. Servers are crashing, and yeah, everyone's crying about it in the chat, and I'm not surprised about it, to be fair.
Yeah, someone calling for a restart. It wasn't technically 25% of the grid that got disconnected, and we're only 13 minutes into the race. There would be no point in restarting at this stage of the race. That is harsh. Mike in the admin chat saying this should be a mass disconnection, maybe over the number. So there could be a restart, I mean,
are we restarting an hour-long race?
No, you'd be restarting a 15-minute sprint, but then we'd have to go through the grid order and set the grid order as it was or as it is now, sort of thing. It's just, yeah. Unlike Spa the other season, where all the Xbox drivers left on the formation lap, this has been 45 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, if we count, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 drivers out of 28. So it's near enough half of the grid.
Yeah, 3 went at one stage, and also myself was disconnected.
Yourself as well, so near enough half of the grid. It's a tricky one. We could let these guys run until the end and then nobody score points.
The only other thing we could do is go back to the lap before the disconnections and complete that as the, because we was pretty much at 75% distance, wasn't we? And give points for 75% completion of the race.
And the internet's going up again. The internet spikes are going up again. So yeah, we are having serious server issues here, as now the 68 of Borobex is having a moment. So
yeah, the Jackal's going up. It's definitely the server. Look, you can see the latency and the ping in the bottom corner of the server statistics is high. So the server clearly the problem. Obviously the heat probably not going to be helping the servers wherever G Portal are based. We have lost yet another driver. I think the thing to do here, and the thing that's going to be fair, is go back to the lap before the disconnects and call that the race results, which means we'd have to look into that and see who was doing what. But I think that's probably the fair thing, because we was pretty much at 75% race distance there, and now there is nobody on the circuit as I have another connection failure. Yeah. I think everybody has now had a connection failure. I'm going to just look back to the lobby. This is clearly a problem, and the lobby isn't even there. We are going to try and reset. We are going to try as quick as we can for you all. There is now nobody in the lobby, so that then, I believe we're going to have to call it there, Dan, for the race tonight. That has disconnected everybody. This could go back to the race results. So what we're not going to do is we're not going to do the internet. We're not going to do the interviews, because look, we're back to the free practice session. So I believe what we have to do from this point in is we have to call that as a result from the 75% race.
Well, we're going to have to go back to when the first driver got disconnected, surely, because otherwise it's not fair on the rest if it's classed as a mass disconnection.
The problem is, though, and this is again something to chat in the admin thing, Paul Williams, Diego Flores and Hypertech wasn't mass disconnection.
It's still an issue. It's still...
Yeah, no, 100%. This is obviously something that we have to chat as an admin chat. We are, though, then, going to call that the end of the broadcast for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. Apologies for the end of the stream. G-Portal servers have had an absolute nightmare. But we are going to have to call that, because that has reset the entire server. And, yeah, Dan, it was an interesting night of racing.
It was indeed, and I think, like I said, it's not fair that we've had this issue, but that's the fun of running online and running these things. And as you can see, multiple cars have been disconnected, and we've all had an issue from it. not just the drivers, but obviously us commentators as well. And to be fair, Kota has really was going to deliver some interesting races toward the end, but we didn't get to see it. But hopefully, fingers crossed, the server will sort itself out for tomorrow night for the pros. Yeah, it's been a frustrating one, I think, and I think the drivers will sit there and think, okay, this is frustrating. But we look to another American circuit, which will be Indianapolis, which is next on the calendar. So a lot of these guys will think, thank God Kota's over, and look to Indy.
Yeah, exactly. This is where we are going to leave it then for tonight. The admins are now in discussion about this race results, so keep your eyes out on the social media. We will get a post out. We'll get Dan to do maybe a final classification picture or something of the results to bring to you, so that you guys at home, the viewers, will know what the final results will be, and we'll get the tables out as well over the weekend. But that is the end of the race. We apologise to the drivers that has been out there on the track and put some time and effort into this one, but we are going to leave it there. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget, tomorrow night is the pro action out on the Kota circuit. Who will be taking the victory in that one? Join Fury and PN live from 8 p.m. GMT +1 BST if you're in the United Kingdom to see all the action around Kota. Don't forget though, hit that bell to be notified, hit the subscribe button if you are new, and hit that thumbs up as well to leave us a like on the channel. We really do appreciate it, and we will get back into the swing of things hopefully tomorrow night, and hopefully we will be back as normal for Indianapolis. But we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
As normal for Indianapolis, but we'll see you next time. Goodbye. Right. Let's jump in the other part. I'm just going to come back onto my other account.